Cox. Hi, sir. How you doing? All right, here we are. We're live on YouTube. YouTube, good evening to you. And those of you who are on X, good evening to you also. If you are listening on Patreon, top of the evening, let's go into TikTok and say hi to TikTok. And over at TikTok, we find Caroline. Hey, Caroline, how you doing?
Hey neighbor, how are you?
Well, not doing too bad at all. How is Saint?
Oh, he's much better now. He's up and down the staircase.
All right. That's fantastic. Well, have you been looking on Jamaica? By the way, the heat, Caroline, not affecting Jamaica as much as other parts of the world. I see where the Met Office is saying we're going to have strong winds in Jamaica, which is a good thing. But I see where some countries are reporting that people are dying of heat stroke, especially animals, Caroline.
Oh yes, neighbor, it is crazy. It is so hot here.
Uh-huh.
Boy, I tell you, I don't know what's going to happen. It's ridiculously hot.
Okay, wow, I tell you the truth.
But I'm so happy to hear that Jamaica is not so hot. I heard you've been having rain today. Did you get any in your
No,
city?
no, none in Kingston where I am at, and I see the Met Office though saying that we are going to be having some strong breeze, So I suspect that that is going to cool things down a bit, eh?
When is this weather going to be, neighbor?
I think it is over the weekend.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yes,
That is awesome. Because everyone I know is complaining about the weather. The heat is just all over the place.
about the heat, uh-huh. Well, and it is hot. Well, talk to the listeners and let's go. 7 minutes after 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Neighbor, before I speak to the listeners, I noticed that you were all over the place today. That is awesome.
Where was no, I had a little time. I had a little time. I wanted to watch the France match because I think France is the better team in the World Cup.
They
I'm not
they
a
are the
wagonist.
best, neighbor.
They
I just have one problem with them.
what?
Like at the end of the game, usually, Mbappe would take off his shirt and he's just not doing anything. Like, what can, my gosh.
Well, what the reason why I went to watch the France match, because I've never watched France since the start of the World Cup. But I heard you speaking about this guy Mbappe, and I wanted to see who is it that Caroline is so crazy about. And when I saw the fella, I said, "Is this Caroline Madova?" But I think I'm a little bit more handsome than he is.
I'm not going crazy over him, neighbor. I just like when he takes off his shirt. That's all
Okay.
I'm asking for. Nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. Just take off your shirt.
Well, I think Selburn Cox is in the chat there. I think Selburn. I wonder if you take off your shirt for Caroline. Well,
No, no,
that
no. Just Mbappe will
Mbappe,
take
I
off
see.
his
But
shirt.
France is playing good football, eh?
They are, neighbor, but when you look at the three goals that Argentina scored the other night, neighbor, I mean, we have to worry.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not supporting France, but I just think that they outplayed Morocco today significantly. Morocco was basically no match. It was a boring match. But they won convincingly. Anyway, talk to the listeners and let me go.
Of course. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to everyone on TikTok, YouTube, X, Patreon, and everywhere you are. Thanks for joining us this evening. Like Neighbor said, you could be elsewhere, but you choose to be here with us. So we appreciate you very much. Gonna ask you again to tap, subscribe, like, repost, send the heart me's listeners, please. I'm begging. Okay, so if you don't know how to do the heart me's, just look at the top of the screen where you see join or that heart shaped thing. Just tap it and send the heart me's. and keep the comment section active. And please send some gift to the platform, please. Thanks. Have a great show now, neighbor.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's start tonight by reviewing a couple news items. First up, the opposition spokesman on education, Mr. Damian Crawford, is questioning the quality of the 2026 primary exit profile PEP examination. So Mr. Crawford is not happy with the PEP results. Let's go over to Nationwide and get a report from Shaloy Smichael, courtesy of Nationwide.
Listeners, I need the repost, please, and the heartbeats.
Had been an improvement in the performance of grade 6 students in both mathematics and language arts in the 2026 PEP exams. For 2026, 72% of the 31,627 students who sat language arts achieved proficiency. This is 3% higher than the 69% recorded in 2025. As for mathematics, 69% of students achieved proficiency in 2026. This is up 6% from the 63% recorded in 2025. This year's sitting was the first time literacy and numeracy assessments were included at grade 6. For those tests, 79% of students achieved mastery in literacy and reading comprehension, while 75% achieved mastery in numeracy. 4% of students were assessed at the non-mastery level for literacy, while 7% received non-mastery in numeracy. But opposition spokesman on education, Damian Crawford, is questioning the quality of the exam administered and the literary mastery results as reported by the ministry. According to him, even some academics are also questioning the results.
It would have been the first year that sixth grade would have been doing this new literacy examination. Therefore, the only comparison that is possible is this year's sixth grade versus themselves in 5th grade last year. But because their levels of literacy, one would have to attain if they were at the 6th grade level or the 5th grade level, for which the ministry was incapable to communicate. Many participants within the examination from the level of teachers and also academics have also questioned the quality of the literacy mastery exam, as quite a few questions have been indicated, and it does not capture speed of reading or high levels of comprehension. It therefore would be a comparison of apples and oranges if we were to suggest that the last year would have been better than this year.
Crawford.
Okay, Mr. Crawford is a little bit confusing there. And Mr. Crawford, I would want to give you an opportunity to explain what you are saying, because I think that you are a communicator. I understand that you teach marketing. What are you saying, Mr. Crawford? If anyone is listening to me and could reach out to Mr. Crawford, I would be happy to talk with Damian on this subject. So I'm putting out an invitation to the opposition spokesman on education to speak with us about the report of the PEP. Now, when it comes on to education, I must tell you, I don't talk politics. Education is so vitally important that it deserves to be taken out of partisan politics. Let me make that clear. I would love to talk to Mr. Crawford about this matter. On another matter, the chairman of the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee, Pernell Charles, gave an impassioned plea. Thank you so much, Chops. And I hope that is not Mr. Mr. Crawford's intention to politicize our education. The educating of our children must be taken out of politics. Well, it is political, but partisan political points. We're not going to try to score no partisan politics. And I believe that all of us can agree that we will have to do more about educating our children. We don't want to get into a political dog fight about that. All right? What we want are tangible, informed discussions about what it is that we can do to improve education in this country. Anyway, the chairman of the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee, Colonel Charles Jr., gave an impassioned plea that the committee guard against what he calls the potential of prosecution turning into persecution as it relates to the work of the anti-corruption body. The Oversight Committee sat today, and here is a little from what Mr. Charles said at the Oversight Committee.
Identifies matters requiring Parliament's attention. That is the work of oversight. So we have to, as the Oversight Committee, be attentive to the relationship also, very important, between investigation and prosecution. The difference between prosecution and persecution is not the seriousness of an allegation. It is the discipline of the process. Prosecution is evidence-led, law-bound, and...
By the way, you see why we have to educate our people? We have to. And you know, the Jamaica Labour Party is celebrating 83 years. Prime Minister, education. I see Senator Morris Dix, she's a senator, yeah, doing a good work up there at the Ministry of Education. I am going to do a particular program on education. We must educate Jamaicans. We have to do it. We have to do it. You know, the Prime Minister, the government of Jamaica, they have invested billions into the security apparatus of the country, and we are seeing the results. Jamaica is now ranked as the most peaceful country in the Caribbean. We must do the same with education. We have to find the resources. And I'm not saying that the government is not doing, but when you look at the education budget, the majority of it, the large majority of it, is going towards salaries. We must educate our people. Not only our children, but our adults too. There need to be a system of re-educating of Jamaicans. We're talking about the adults.
Fear, persecution is what justice becomes when power outruns proof,
Hear that?
process, or any legal authority.
You hear that? You hear what Mr. Charles just said? Let me play it again. Let me play that again. And this is not the program that you come to at night to get entertainment. We are entertaining, but we want to educate. There must be in Jamaica a process and a program of re-educating our people, those people that dropped out of school in the 90s under the FinSAC era. They never got a chance to complete their education. They don't know the difference between misinformation, disinformation. They are not critical thinkers. Our member Harry spoke about the fact that we are not critical thinkers in this country. It is an indictment. It is an indictment. And there are too many Jamaicans who came through the period of the 90s, then drop out of school, they couldn't complete their education, and they are now struggling to understand the issues. We have to re-educate them. We have to send them back to school. They could be 30, 40. We have to re-educate them because we can't talk about the road to Singapore and we don't put them back in a school. They have to go back in a school, and whether you want to call it Jamal or Bamal or Damal or whatever, it must be a national, we must have a national consensus that every Jamaican must learn to read and write and be literate and numerate. Everyone, not some, everybody. Okay, we cannot have a society with 15% of our people illiterate. That can't work, because 15% of illiterate amounts to almost 300,000 people. Those people can change any election, and they are the people that vote, and they are the people that can be bought, and they are the people that are on media influencing people. Those are the same people turn on their lives and chat foolishness, and people believe them. We must re-educate. We have to send them back to school. If it's even for 1 year, if I even for 6 months, if I even for 3 months, they must go sit down in a classroom and learn something. Learn about the new Jamaica. The new Jamaica that is emerging. The new Jamaica that is leaving them behind. Listen to Mr. Charles. And I'm going to get to Dr. Campbell. I'm going to get to Dr. Campbell, because it all ties in.
It's not the seriousness of an allegation. It is the discipline of the process. Prosecution is evidence-led, law-bound, and fair. Persecution is what justice becomes when power outruns proof, process, or any legal authority. And as an oversight committee...
No. All of the civil society groups that are calling for Dr. Wheatley to you listen to that? You listen to that? All the half-wits. You listen to Dr. Charles? Why the Labour Party don't click that and put it into an ad? You clip it, no man. Just clip out that portion. G2K, clip out that. Just clip out that 30 seconds of Mr. Charles' presentation and make it go viral across social media. Pay TikTok to send it across all the platforms. Put it on YouTube. Put it on put it all over the place. We have to understand this. Very, very important. And that is how an educated society operates. You know, just jump up and call for people's resignation. And you jump up and because something happened, they must go there. That's rubbish. That's not how our society operates. That's not how we run a democracy. A democracy that is structured upon the pillars of law. That's not how it goes. Clip it out, man. Clip out that portion from Charles and use it. Make people understand.
We must guard slavishly against a commission that has the potential to prosecute and ensure that whatever is put before us meets the tenets of prosecution. This observation is not made, let me make it clear, because I know that many are listening and will be recording and repeating. It's not made as an accusation against the commission. It is it's a principle that must guide all public authorities that hold investigative, much less investigative and prosecutorial power. Where an institution has both investigative and prosecutorial functions within its statutory architecture, the standard of care, that standard must be higher.
You heard that? Are you listening? This one crowd, you know. Are you listening? This society need to go back to school. The Jamaican people need to go back to school. We have to save, we have to rescue our people from ignorance. Ignorance is driving a lot of the misinformation and the disinformation. Ignorance. When you listen to a lot of the people online, you realize it's a lack of information. It's a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of an ability to understand the issues. We have to fix it. We have to fix the problem of illiteracy in Jamaica. And it requires strong leadership. Because you cannot be allowed to turn on your phone and spread information that is inaccurate. In this day and age, you can become an influencer as a school dropout. You can barely read, but you are an influencer. And in a world where people are getting information on their phones, the democracy can be threatened if the people putting out information are not careful. And when you put out that information in a society that has the proclivity for falsehood, that is emotive, that is driven by feelings, you see why we are suffering. And it is not sufficient. I can't come up here every night and correct everything. The broader society needs to stop and take note.
Asking everyone to tap the screen, share the live, repost the live, and to send the heartbeats, please. And remember to keep
the public interest is not served by matters being advanced beyond what the evidence and law can properly sustain. Nor is it served if strong cases are weakened by delay, by error, or by lack of clarity. So we have to hold those things into our contention and mind when deliberating on matters of importance that have been referred to us. A strong commission, therefore, must be fearless, and we will be so, disciplined. Zeal within the law, as has always been said, is a virtue. Power exercised beyond the law is a danger. And this committee will support the former and guard against the latter. Make that be very clear. At the same time, we will effectively remain within our own mandate. It does not examine a report in order to redecide the individual matter. We won't be doing that. We'll examine reports in order to review institutional performance and to...
All right, so I'm going to get back to the Integrity Commission and Minister Charles, but Nora Gay Banton from Nationwide produced this report. Let's hear her.
Prosecution, not persecution. Chairman of the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee, Colonel Charles Jr., has called for his fellow parliamentarians
to be diligent in their duties as they review reports from the anti-corruption body.
So we have to, as the Oversight Committee, be attentive to the relationship also, very important, between investigation and prosecution. The difference between prosecution and persecution is not the seriousness of an allegation. It is the discipline of the process. Prosecution is evidence-led, law-bound, and fair. Persecution is what justice becomes when power outruns proof, process, or any legal authority. And as an oversight committee, we must...
By the way, that statement by Charles is one of the most important statements ever made by a politician in Jamaica. This is one of the most consequential statement ever made by a modern day politician in Jamaica. It is a profound statement made by a minister. And I commend you, sir, Mr. Charles. I really do. It's clear that Chief invested Chief invested a lot in you, Charles. You are one of the new breed. Well, you see how new breed politicians are to think. I think Purnell has gone up a little notch in my book because of this. I think it's a brilliant statement, and it should be played at every opportunity they should play it. Let's go back to Nationwide.
Guard slavishly against a commission that has the potential to persecute and ensure that whatever is put before us meets the tenets of prosecution.
The chairman of the Integrity Commission, retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick, as part of her annual report remarks, warned that a growing wave of lawsuits against the body and its leaders could slow the fight against corruption. The statement came as Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and a sitting cabinet minister pressed their own court challenges against the commission. However, Charles Jr. sought to make it clear that his comments were not an attack against the Integrity Commission. Instead, he says it's a cautionary statement for all public officials who hold substantial prosecutorial power.
It's not made as an accusation against the commission. It is it's a principle that must guide all public authorities that hold investigative, much less investigative and prosecutorial power. Where an institution has both investigative and prosecutorial functions within its statutory architecture, the standard of care, that standard must be higher. The public interest is not served by matters being advanced beyond what the evidence and law can properly sustain, nor is it served if strong cases are weakened by delay, by error, or by lack of clarity.
He says it's attendant on the Oversight Committee to carry out its function.
We have to hold those things into our contention and mind when deliberating on matters of importance that have been referred to us. A strong commission, therefore, must be fearless, and we will be so disciplined. Zeal within the law, as has always been said, is a virtue. Power exercised beyond the law is a danger, and this committee will support the former and guard against the latter. Make that be.
Well, I will tell you this. I am so impressed with Mr. Charles that I am blown away. I really am. I think Mr. Charles may be wasted at Labour. Listening to Mr. Charles, he needs a promotion, Prime Minister. You know, Labour is a good ministry, but I think that Charles... Well, let me hold my comments on that and see. The Prime Minister has promised some change to the executive. Let's see what happens to Purnell. You know, I met Mr. Charles at a G2K meeting. Yes, when I was a younger man. I trifled a little bit around with G2K, you know. Yes, I did. And I met Mr. Charles at a G2K meeting. I didn't know he was so good. Yeah, you are very good, Mr. Charles. Love to talk to you a little bit on this matter at some time. But the Jamaica Labour Party, they do have some brilliant young people there. I think Mr. Charles should move from this is one of the times I am in agreement with you. Okay, you were, Michael, you, Latibudia, you didn't agree with me on other times. We can disagree. I think Charles is he may be wasted at Labour based on his mind. I think he has a fine future in the politics. Congratulations, Pernell, and congratulations to your father too. No doubt the investment is paying off. Jamaica is proud of you, son. And it's a great choice to be to be leading this committee.
Hello, family.
You know, I told my listeners yesterday that I think that the government or the members of parliament may have recolonized themselves. That in our understandable desire to eliminate corruption, Jamaica may have created an institution that is so isolated from democratic accountability that we have unintentionally recreated a colonial model of governance, one where power exists above the people and above politics. And I want to get back to that because I think that the Integrity Commission in its present setup cannot serve the people of Jamaica. It cannot serve the people of Jamaica. And I believe that as soon as possible, Jamaicans agree that this Integrity Commission, they have done their days. And there is no way that Jamaica can continue to proceed under this Integrity Commission. This Integrity Commission is in need of serious change. And the Prime Minister can't say it, but we can say it. That the people of Jamaica don't have any confidence in the work of this Integrity Commission. This Integrity Commission has lost integrity and has lost credibility. And even if their work is correct, we don't believe them. And they're going to have it is not repairable. It cannot be repaired. It has to start over. The present people there, we're not going to work with them. And I believe that the government will have to be bold. It will have to be bold because it is an important institution. But at this point, it is politicized. And that cannot take us forward. And we need to fix it.
Hello.
Let's go to the main topic for tonight. Dr. Dayton Campbell. Dr. Campbell got married a few weeks ago. Here is Dr. Campbell issuing an apology to Mr. Vaz.
Party. On or about July.
Listen to him.
I am Dr. Dayton Campbell, General Secretary of the People's National Party.
By the way, I was on Chalk today, and I was told that Dayton Campbell was not the secretary, Well, Dayton Campbell says he is the secretary of the Jamaica of the People's National Party. Here is the general secretary of the People's National Party. Listen to him.
I am Dr. Dayton Campbell, General Secretary of the People's National Party. On or about July 27, 2023.
I want you to note the distinction there. Dr. Campbell is the Member of Parliament for Eastern Westmoreland. Dr. Campbell made it known here that he is the General Secretary of the People's National Party. That is very important. Dr. Campbell, in his own words, says that he is the General Secretary of the People's National Party, which means that Dr. Campbell's actions cannot be separated from the party. Dr. Campbell is not speaking as Dayton Campbell, the citizen, but as the General Secretary of the People's National Party. The People's National Party cannot absolve themselves from Dr. Campbell, you know, nor can Dr. Campbell absolve himself from the party. And I told Chuck today that I believe that the Labour Party is not handling this matter well, because I cannot see how Dr. Campbell remains the General Secretary of the party tonight. Dr. Campbell ought to be removed as General Secretary. And that is a problem I have with Mr. Golding. That is a problem I have with Mr. Golding. Mr. Golding appears to be a man of convenience. No principle. Dr. Campbell should not remain. And I saw Dr. Campbell at the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee meeting in Parliament today. Dr. Campbell sits on the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. Dr. Campbell, Dr. Dayton Campbell, I question whether or not Dr. Campbell even should be in the Parliament of Jamaica as a lawmaker, based on what he says. Listen to Dr. Campbell.
I am Dr. Dayton Campbell, General Secretary of the People's National Party. On or about July 27, 2023, I made statements on the political platform, which upon later reflection, I came to realize could have been interpreted as connecting Honorable Darrell Vaz to the murder of Diane Smith.
Oh, hold on then. You know, I saw James Roberts. And you know, something could be said about James, but we're not saying it here. And Othniel Lawrence laughing with Dr. Campbell. And I felt it was a disconnect, you know. I never said anything to laugh about. James, with the greatest of respect, I never say anything to laugh about. I never see nothing to laugh about. You're laughing up with Dr. Campbell? What is there to laugh with Dr. Campbell about? You know, I don't know why there seems to be a disconnect between the supporters of the party and the party itself. Dr. Campbell is no friend of the Labour Party. I don't want no friend with him. Pause that for me. And let me play something else for you and tell you why the party would be advised to to drop Dr. Campbell's company.
Asking everyone to tap the screen, share
Listen.
the live, repost the live, and send the heart knees.
Listen to
So
Darren-
we obviously have to start
Darrell Vaz.
where the hot topic is concerning that matter that you brought to court against the PNP General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell, and you have left with what you believe is a satisfactory outcome. He has apologized publicly, and I'm certain that you view the outcome of the matter as vindication for what you have been through over 40 plus years.
100%. It is poetic justice that it would have been the now sitting General Secretary that would have found himself in this position, because it was an orchestrated political smear campaign that started when I ran as councillor for the first time in 1986. And obviously it has lived with me ever since, and it has been
hold on. Go ahead. Wait. Go ahead.
And I'm certain that you,
because it was an orchestrated political smear campaign that started when I ran as councillor for the first time in 1986.
From 1986, Darrell Vaz, and let me tell you something, and I must be very honest with you. Even me had my doubts of Darrell. There are persons in the party, in the Jamaica Labour Party itself, that believe, Darrell said it here, that every election he ran inside the party and outside the party. And you up there and laugh with Dr. Campbell? For 40 years. 40 years? And Dr. Campbell is out there laughing? What is there to laugh about, Dr. Campbell? What is there to laugh about? One of the most striking image that emerged from the conclusion of this matter was not the settlement itself, but the interaction that followed. Dayton Campbell and James Robertson was seen laughing together after the proceeding had ended. Robinson could laugh. Robinson had all right to laugh. Forgiveness is a personal decision, and reconciliation should always be welcome where it is genuine. But the optics tells a different story. Dr. Campbell's laughter in particular is unsettling. A man who is genuinely sorry, there's no laugh. It's like you knock down my son, and when I meet you at the hospital, you're smiling with me. What is there to smile about? This was not an ordinary political disagreement or a spirited exchange on a campaign platform. It was the resolution of a defamation action in which Campbell publicly acknowledged that there was no basis for the allegation, and he had the allegation that he had communicated and agreed to issue an unreserved apology. And the Jamaica Labour Party laughing with him and have not called for his resignation as General Secretary of the party and from the Electoral Commission and from every committee in the Parliament. You're joking, man. An occasion like this naturally calls for humility. and solemn reflection rather than visible levity. Because the public's confidence is shaped as much by symbolism as by words. Leadership carries with it an awareness that moments of accountability are watched closely by supporters. And I must tell you that as someone who admires the Jamaica Labour Party, I was not happy. Because even if the laughter reflected relief that a difficult matter had come to an end, the image risked conveying that the gravity of what had occurred had already been forgotten. That perception matters. And I was not happy that you were laughing up with Mr. Vaz. Not happy at all. Many supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party have long believed that the allegations against Vaz, Lawrence and Robinson inflicted lasting damage on their reputations. And for those supporters, seeing the matter conclude with apparent laughter leaves them wondering whether sufficient weight was given to the decades during which those allegations continue to circulate in the public discourse. This is not an argument against forgiveness. I'm not saying don't forgive him. Forgive him, as of course. It's not a criticism against Robinson's decision to embrace reconciliation either. Indeed, I commend Mr. Robinson's willingness to forgive. Mr. Robinson said he's a Christian, and Christian values are admirable. However, forgiveness should not diminish the public appreciation of accountability. These are large moments. It's a moment that Durval should know, should understand. It's a moment that Mama San should learn from. It's a moment that Caution and all of the others out there should learn from. It's not a moment of laughter. People's reputation matter. People's character matter. Because I don't have the money. Because if I had the money, enough of you would be dragged before the court. And when I laugh about that, not skin, not teeth. Andre Stevens should learn from this. This is not a matter to joke about. There's no joke here. Forgiveness does not diminish the public's appreciation of accountability. Dr. Campbell must be held accountable. $1.5 million and an apology, not sufficient. 40 years of 40 years? You watch me and some of you. Call up my name. And we're going head to head down the court. And when you see me down there with my lawyer, we will not be laughing. I can tell you that. Because right now I have a matter that I'm going to take to the court. Well, it's already at the court. And I'm not laughing about it. Moments like these are larger than the individuals involved. This is not about Mr. Vaz and Mr. Robinson and Mr. Lawrence alone, you know. It's about Jamaica. They speak to a political culture. It speaks to standards. Standards of public conduct. And to the expectations that citizens have for those entrusted with national leadership. Dr. Campbell is the General Secretary of the People's National Party. He should not be laughing. An apology is meaningful only if it is accompanied by conduct that reflects a genuine appreciation of the harm it caused. A man cannot unalive your wife or grape your wife and turn up in a court and laugh. Brother, if you hurt my children, I don't want you to laugh about it. When you come to tell me you are sorry, do not laugh. Because I'm going to have to question, are you really serious? Do you really understand what you did? In public life, you see, appearances matter because they communicate values. Repeat, appearances matter because they communicate values. And what it tells me by looking on at Dr. Campbell is that he's not a man of values. Where reputations have been damaged, where families have endured decades of speculations, and where a court action ends with an unequivocal apology, the public is entitled to expect that the moment will be marked by humility. And for many watching, laughter was simply the wrong image at the wrong time. Listen to Dr. Campbell.
Dr. Dayton Campbell, General Secretary of the People's National Party. On or about July 27, 2023, I made statements on the political platform, which upon later reflection, I came to realize could have been interpreted as connecting Honorable Darrell Vaz to the murder of Dan Smith, as well as an alleged plot to assassinate the then leader of the opposition, Mr. Andrew Holness, in 2015. I intended no malice when the statements were made, but I accept that they had the potential to cause pain and embarrassment to Mr. Vaz and his family. I hereby unequivocally withdraw the statements I made on the aforementioned date because, to the best of my knowledge, the statements and our innuendos and insinuations contained therein have no foundation in truth and are in fact categorically false. In respect of Dan Smith, I acknowledge that my comment may have been interpreted as giving life to a rumor which started in the 1980s, connecting the Honorable Darrell Vaz to the murder of Dan Smith. This connection was unfortunate because the matter was investigated by law enforcement.
Dr. Campbell repeated a rumor that he never took the chance to verify, that the Honorable Minister may have committed an unalive. Dr. Campbell did that.
And in Mr. Vaz's disclosure to the court in legal proceedings, he produced copies of his passport and college transcript, confirming that Minister Vaz was not in the jurisdiction at the time of the murder. Regarding the alleged plot to assassinate Andrew Holness.
You hear that? No, I can laugh. Alleged plot to unalive the Prime Minister. I tell you this, I tell you, no, it's time for me to laugh. You know, I tell you, this is fascinating stuff. It is fascinating. Oh, Moti.
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh. Fascinating stuff from that. I tell you the truth, it is listen to you.
To the courts in legal proceedings, he produced copies of his passport and college transcript, confirming that Minister Vaz was not in the jurisdiction at the time of the murder. Regarding the alleged plot to assassinate Andrew Holness,
oh gosh. Oh gosh.
What a man irresponsible. What an irresponsible man Dr. Campbell is. Anyway, let's listen to him. He's very funny.
Knowledge that an individual had confessed to lying on Mr. Vaz in a hope. I'm Dr. Dayton Campbell, General.
All right. So
And it is also
here's the rest of it.
It is also widely known in the public domain that the individual has been convicted and sentenced for public mischief.
That individual has been arrested, charged, convicted for public mischief. What about Dr. Campbell? He's allowed to settle, but he repeats it. And tonight he's the General Secretary of the People's National Party. No problem. Shake hands and laugh. Not a good sign to your supporters, Labour Party. Not a good sign.
Hereby categorically apologize to Mr. Vaz and his family for any pain and embarrassment they may have suffered by my statements, and I agree that I will not repeat the statements or the and insinuations contained therein at any time in the future.
All right. So Dr. Campbell is saying that he will not repeat it. It wasn't true. I should have been more careful. I will not repeat it. Now, listen to Mr. Vaz talking to George Davis. This is an interview that is going to be released maybe sometime soon.
100%. It is poetic justice that it would have been now sitting General Secretary that would have found himself in this position, because it was an orchestrated political smear campaign that started when I ran as councillor for the first time in 1986. And obviously it has lived with me ever since, and it has been raised in every political campaign that I've been involved in, both internally and externally. So the fact that
it has been raised in every political campaign inside the Jamaica Labour Party and outside. So even in the party that Vaz has suffered. Even in the party, the Jamaica Labour Party, you remember that Vaz supported Shaw in the leadership race? That's another story, you know. Inside the party, outside the party. Every political campaign that he has participated in, it has been used against him. You know, Dr. Campbell cannot get away with this just like that. I think that Dr. Campbell should face some additional scrutiny here. You know, I heard this girl Carla B, happy wife, daughter, saying a few words on this. Listen to her.
Not because he won a $1.5 million defamation lawsuit.
Big up Carla B, happy wife. God is the greatest.
Happy wife. I say this without malice, that MP Darrell Vaz will go down in history, not because he won a $1.5 million defamation lawsuit or because he was issued a public apology, but because he is a man for the people. I say this without malice, that MP Darrell Vaz was first elected in 1986 as a councillor for the Waterloo Division, and he has not looked back since. I say this without malice, that thank you, Mr. Douglas Vaz, rest in peace, for introducing your son to politics, because you yourself was a man that fought for the people of Jamaica in the 80s with Mr. Siaga when they wanted to introduce communism. I say this without malice, that MP Vaz is a man for not only the rich in Jamaica, but the poor parents in Jamaica that are unable to provide transportation for their children to go to school. And when he tried to introduce the rural transportation system, the opposing side doing what they did best, opposed, stating that they would much rather their children to travel in taxis. I say this without malice, that MP Darrell Vaz is a working MP. Hurricane Melissa came on October 28, 2025. And the press briefing was held by Mr. Vaz on October 29, 2025, stating that the Flemings and the Norman Manley Airport will be open to receive relief items, and that on October 30th, 2025, commercial flights will be in full effect. I say this without malice, that MP Darrell Vaz is a man not only for the people in Jamaica that can walk into a dealership and purchase a car, but for the average man in Jamaica that would be able to buy a used car, as he is the founder of the Jamaica Used Car Association. I say this without malice, that MP Darrell Vaz is a man that don't only love the people them in Jamaica that can afford a generator, but he lobbied and lobbied that we loan that 150 million US dollar to the JPS, so that well-thinking and hard-working Jamaicans could get back light so that they could go back to their day-to-day functions. I say this without any malice. Thank you, Jamaica, for choosing Jamaica and choosing a party that not only rules on emotion, but on straight policies and with a straight frame of mind. I say this without malice, that MP Darrell Vaz will go down as a great man in Jamaica history because he served his country well. One love, Jamaica. I say this without malice, that
equal rights and justice is our everlasting song. Unity and progress will make our nation strong. Stand up for your rights when you hear the bell. Stand up for justice, hear the freedom bell. Remember, Bustamante, he served you well. Stand up, Jamaicans, when you hear the bell.
There you go. Happy wife, Carla B. God is the greatest. Big up yourself, Carla. Best wishes to your mother. And we hope that she recovers, Keep the struggle, my girl, Carla B. God is the greatest. Can't get ahead of that. Anyway, I am suggesting that an apology is not enough. An apology is not enough. It's 8 minutes after 8 o'clock. Producer, give me a little more time. I beg you. Because politics has always been a contest of ideas. But it becomes something far more dangerous when it descends into weaponization. The weaponization of falsehood. The settlement of the defamation case brought by Energy Minister Darrell Vaz, former Member of Parliament Othniel Lawrence, and Member of Parliament James Robinson against the People's National Party, PNP's Dayton Campbell, should not simply be viewed as an end of a legal dispute. It should be understood as a profound lesson in ethics, leadership, psychology, and the irreversible damage that words can inflict. For more than 40 years, Darrell Vaz says he lived under the shadow of a rumor. Imagine that. The shadow of a rumor. That according to the settlement and Campbell's recorded apology, had no factual basis. Mr. Vaz lived under the shadow of allegations that had no factual basis. Campbell publicly admitted that he had communicated allegations for which there was no evidence. That admission by Dr. Campbell is perhaps the most significant aspect of the entire episode. Because Dr. Campbell is saying he had no evidence. An apology matters. A retraction matters. A financial settlement matters. But none of these can fully restore what years of suspicion, whispers, and political innuendos have taken away. If the General Secretary of a national political party repeats allegations that ultimately have no evidentiary basis and later must issue an unequivocal apology, it raises questions about whether he retains the moral authority expected of his office. Should Dr. Campbell be removed as the General Secretary of the People's National Party? Campbell should seriously consider tendering his resignation as General Secretary of the party. There is no moral authority that Dr. Campbell has to continue as General Secretary of the party. None. And if Mark Bolin does not remove Dr. Campbell, then we have to question Mark Bolin's own moral authority to lead the People's National Party. Because they have no moral authority to ask for anyone's resignation if this General Secretary remains in the party. Moderator, I understand that I have a guest. Can you let me talk to them, please? 12 minutes after 8 o'clock. Tonight is Talk Your Mind, and I'd love to hear from the listeners. Put them up for me, moderator, please.
Okay, but could you please give me a minute, please?
Not a problem. Thank you so much for staying tuned. We are hoping to be joined by our guests, and of course, as many of our listeners as we can take tonight. We'll try and take them. Do you agree that Dr. Campbell ought to consider tendering his resignation as General Secretary of the People's National Party? Dr. Campbell, I don't think retains the ethical or moral authority to continue. It's as simple as that. All right. Before as we wait on the guests to join us, we probably could go to another matter here. Hello, Winston. Hello. By the way, I don't know if you saw that video circulating online of the
Winston, could you please unmute?
The robbery at the gas station, and we learned later on in the day that the police cut down 2 of those men. These men drove up to the gas station and paid for some gas, and then the next thing you know, the gas pump attendant was fired on. I understand that she has not died, but the police have cut down 2 of them. Amazing stuff. Congratulations to the Jamaica Constabulary Force for acting so swiftly in getting those men. Good evening to you, Winston. Hello. No, we don't.
Good evening.
Good evening to you, sir. Hi, how are you?
I'm here, neighbor.
Yes.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, man. Hi. What's on your mind?
Good evening, Caroline.
Go ahead, Winston.
Yes, neighbor, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, go ahead. What's on your mind?
You know, neighbor, I just joined the program. I not even know what is the topic, really.
Okay. All right. Hold on there for me. Hold on there. Hold on there. I think Dr. Campbell at a press conference said that he was not going to retract the statements, after he made the statements, he was not going to retract them. Here is Dr. Campbell.
A few moments later.
Here is he.
Will you be apologizing? Will you be retracting the comments?
I don't apologize for speaking the truth.
I don't apologize for speaking the truth. I don't apologize to speaking the truth. When Dr. Campbell was told that what he was saying is not true, he won't apologize. Anyway, Speak Your Mind is on. Listeners, please, it's your time. Let's hear what's on your mind. Go ahead, Winston.
Okay, neighbor. So I will speak my mind concerning this statement by Dr. Campbell. You see, neighbor, over the years, the type of politics that the PNP have practiced is to destroy his opponent's character. This is the practice of the PNP over the years. Okay? Mr. Edward Sierra has suffered immensely from this. And from 2006, when Darrell Vaz made himself available to become the candidate for Western Portland, he has been attacked several times by many people about this allegation. And it has not deterred him as to be a very successful member of parliament and a minister of government. Darrell Vaz will go down in history to be one of Jamaica's best performing minister.
Yes.
Ever.
Yes.
Since our independence.
Yes.
Okay. Darrell Vaz is a worker. Darrell Vaz is an achiever. Darrell Vaz is a successful member of parliament. Okay? And we here in West Portland will not give him up for anything at all. And so therefore, what Mr. Campbell is trying to do is to destroy this hard patriotic Jamaican reputation. And it's only a pity that our politics have to be, the PNP can only resort to gutter politics, not politics.
How do you feel, Winston, about how the matter here is handled? I am positing that I don't see how Dr. Campbell can remain the General Secretary of the People's National Party after this.
I think he never gave up that post.
No, sir. No, Dr. Campbell said he's the General Secretary. That's what he said.
Will you be?
No,
I say this.
The allegation, neighbor.
Pick them up.
Holding that capacity. So, Mr. Vaz and Mr. Roberts asked that he must retract the statement, wearing the cap of the Gen Sec. But I don't think he's still the present Gen Sec of the party.
He said that he is.
But neighbor, is it that some time ago it was announced that he's stepping down?
I don't know, sir. I don't know PNP business, but that's what listen to Dr. Campbell.
Anyhow,
People's National Party.
Listen, hold on.
I'm Dr. Dayton Campbell, General Secretary of the People's National Party.
That's what he said. He is the General Secretary. Hello?
I'm hearing you.
Yes, sir. He is the General Secretary of the People's. I'm asking you, based on the nature of, sometimes I don't know about Jamaica. We don't have no standard down here, man. We don't have no standard, sir. And we have to have certain standard by which we operate as a country. You can't. Anyway, why? It's talk your mind tonight. Let me stop talking my mind and allow the listeners to talk theirs. Go ahead, sir. Member Harry?
Good night, neighbor. Good night, everybody.
Member Harry, how you doing, sir?
A little on the tired side tonight, neighbor. But apart from that, good.
Yeah. To what party last night?
Not necessarily. Only for work today.
All right. Member Harry, tell me how do you see this Dr. Campbell apology and how it is handled? And do you agree with me that Dr. Campbell's positions in the various sectors, the various areas of government, including the commissioner on the Electoral Commission, General Secretary of the party, should be considered in light of this judgment?
Well, let me start in terms of the first part. And this is going to be from my bias, because if my character was put in question for 4 decades, for $1.5 million can compensate for that.
Uh-huh.
And no apology can cover or repair the damage that was done, not just to my political career, but
yes,
to myself as a decent human being.
Yes.
For coming from somebody who knows the truth,
yes,
knows wrong from right, and also knows what the repercussions of what he's saying can be, what it has been, and what it can continue to do. And to weaponize a lie for both political gain and also for fun. No,
yes.
That for me, neighbor, I don't play games when it comes on to my standards and my character.
Uh-huh.
Right? Now, when you do that, for me, that is the end of the world for me. And to make it worse, you are smiling after all of that.
Yes, I absolutely. How do you feel about that behavior of laughing about this matter?
It sends a message that there's no sincerity in it, and I want people to understand that this wasn't coming from somebody who wanted to do this. This is somebody who was forced to do it. Because I've seen some things making the rounds on social media saying it took a man to come and apologize. No. It took a man to know the truth and to not do it in the first place.
Because his lawyer did say that they were prepared to fight this matter.
Exactly. And it shows that you're malicious in every sense of the word. And when you do that, neighbor, I don't see what you would not be prepared to do to anybody else in the political arena. Right? No, for me, that wouldn't have been a settled score. No way, no how. Right? And personally, neighbor, I would take him for every single penny for the fun of it. That's one. And I would ensure that he never ever sits across from me in Parliament. That is how serious this should be treated.
I agree.
Because you've accused a man of one of the worst acts a man can be called on, or his name can be called on, because you don't get any form of repairment from that. Even if the truth is there that says you weren't even a part of it. You weren't even here. You don't repair such damage on that specific act, neighbor, and we know, right? And you chose to go. That wasn't even to go low down, neighbor. That was going to hell from Dayton Campbell, and I would ensure I show him what hell means.
Very good. Yeah.
But in terms of the him being the general secretary, neighbor, we need the opposition leader to come and clear it up, because from my understanding,
He said that he
was
is.
supposed to step aside.
He said that he is the general secretary.
Right, from his utterance, no, straight from the horse's mouth in his apology. But from what we were told before, some time ago, that he was stepping aside to focus on constituency duties and other things.
Now, let me ask you this, Harry. Do you think that the PNP itself as a party can absolve itself from Dr. Campbell in this matter? Do you think that Campbell acted on his own, and because wasn't Campbell acting on behalf of the party? Wasn't he trying to score political points for his party?
Of course. And remember, neighbor, the statements that were made, right, was done on behalf of the People's National Party, because he was doing it in the capacity.
Yes.
Right? We have to ensure that. And he also came back with the apology in a capacity. Because understand this, when you're doing something, if you're doing it by yourself, right, you won't necessarily announce a position. But if you're doing it on behalf or in a specific capacity, you then announce that capacity, make it clear what capacity you are speaking in. Now, I can use an example when it comes on to, I believe it was Julian Robinson, was same Dayton Campbell, regarding the Dennis Gordon situation, where he said Dennis Gordon came to him and spoke, right? We clearly knew what the capacities were and how they were, how Dennis Gordon spoke to him. It is no different now. This man has announced that as the General Secretary, he's making the apology, and that apology also comes on behalf of the People's National Party. So we cannot separate the capacity that he acted in both situations, both in committing the offense and also for the apology. And I don't think people should take this lightly, because it shows that the People's National Party will do and say every and anything to really back power. Because how can you know that what you're saying is false? It's downright false, and also it can kill a man, correct, neighbor? That was an attempted murder in terms of a political career. You went after, and this is on behalf of the People's National Party, you went after a man to ruin him for life. Not just from the political standpoint, but you use it and you weaponized something against a man. Neighbor, can you understand, in the business world, your name get called on what they've done to Vaz, how that can ruin you?
I know, sir.
And you sought to go after a man and think it's funny even after issuing an apology. Neighbor, me tell you, he would have known what hell looks and feels like if it was me.
Yeah.
And I will never take something like that, because you've now not only put my political career at risk, myself as a decent human being, but you also have now affected a beautiful family man.
Yes.
Because it doesn't just stop with the man, you know.
Yes.
It goes right to everybody he's affiliated with as well.
Yes.
And I will be prepared, neighbor. I'm tell you, I take him for every neighbor. When me done, you see me walk on the street like a madman, and I'm dead serious about that.
Yes. But I noticed that the members of the party were also laughing with him. What do you think about that?
Neighbor, I think they need to wheel and come again and reel in this. Because the man has stood resilient and resolute. You make a statement when it comes on to this. You stand in solidarity and be serious about it, because next time it can be anybody.
Yes.
That is how I view it. If they're willing to do it for Vaz for such a long time, and we see what they're prepared to do with the Prime Minister, it can be anybody else, both on the People's National Party side and also the ruling government, right? And that you cannot even utter a smirk. And the statement should have been one where they stood in solidarity and let it be known that we will not accept. In fact, I would call on the arms of the party to speak out on this. I'll also call on to members of the party what they should have done and announce this, that listen, this is not a joking matter.
Asking everyone to tap the screen, share the live, repost the live, send the heart knees and some gifts to the platform, please.
Let's hear TVJ how they reported this matter in their newscast last night. Let's listen to TVJ.
Welcome back to Primetime News.
And a special welcome once again to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com.
First up this evening, the defamation lawsuit by Government Minister Darrell Vaz and his co-complainants against People's National Party General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell has been settled.
The matter was resolved ahead of the trial, which was set to begin this morning.
No, Mr. Vaz filed the lawsuit in August 2023 over comments Dr. Campbell made during the PNP's Clarendon Northwestern Annual Conference the previous month.
We have the details from Raquel Porter.
Handshakes and smiles marked the end of the lawsuit, which was filed in August 2023. But before the settlement was formalized, attorney Alexander Williams, representing St. Thomas Western Member of Parliament James Robertson, and former St. Anne Northwestern MP Othniel Lawrence, appeared remotely and told the court that parties arrived at a settlement. Dr. Campbell's attorneys, Sheena Stubbs Gibson and Royal Gibson, then stepped outside the courtroom to sign the settled documents. Minutes later, Mr. Vaz was seen leaving the courtroom, followed by his attorney, Catherine Minto. When proceedings resumed, Justice Tricia Hutchinson Shelley was formally advised that all parties reached a settlement. The agreement was then endorsed by the court. Yesterday, Mr. Robertson and Dr. Campbell laughed and talked throughout the proceedings. When asked if their interaction was an indication that a settlement was coming, Mr. Robertson said,
"It's genuine, and it was genuine, and that's what matters. We move on. We are Christian with principle, and I must tell you, I've had no bad interaction, and I understand what the campaign trail is like. That is 10 months old. And I am willing to apologize to anybody when I trespass on them.
Responding to why he waited until the trial date, Dr. Campbell said all options were on the table.
Both Othniel and James are persons that I know that I can't say that I've had a bad interaction with either of them. We've disagreed, obviously, because we're from different political parties, but I can't say that I've had any bad interaction with them. There are things that were said that unwittingly would have communicated some things, and those are not things that I wanted to communicate, and therefore, I offered an unreserved apology to them, and that apology will be made public.
Mr. Lawrence described the settlement as a form of maturity.
That Jamaica can see that regardless of our differences in politics, at the end of the day, we are still brothers and sisters of this nation, in the sense of it that we have to set the example. And a lot of things are happening in our country that, people are looking up to us. And at this point in time, I think this is very much a good example for us to set for others to come.
All right. Here is what the Jamaica Labour Party statement said on
I am among those.
That's Marlon Morgan. Here is what the party put out.
We welcomed the legal proceedings brought back in August 2023 by Darrell Vaz, James Robertson, and Othniel Lawrence against the PNP's embattled General Secretary, Dayton Campbell. I equally welcome the subsequent settlement that has been arrived at between the parties. Dayton Campbell has rightfully apologized to Vaz, Robertson, and Lawrence, and in his statement of apology, accepted that his vile, reckless, and defamatory platform utterances had no foundation in truth and indeed are categorically false. By holding Dayton Campbell's feet to the fire, Vaz, Robertson, and Lawrence have secured a victory for civility, accountability, and responsibility in our political discourse. There are far too many examples of people being defamed or having their reputation otherwise besmirched as a result of politically motivated falsehoods and coordinated character assassination. A considerable segment of the Jamaican population is convinced that it is a deliberate and orchestrated political strategy of PNP operatives and their surrogates, especially on social media, to spread blatant lies and use disinformation to advance their partisan political agenda. Members of the government and the Jamaica Labour Party as a whole will continue to push back against baseless, malicious, and defamatory utterances by PNP operatives and their surrogates. We are prepared to seek redress in the courts and send a strong and unequivocal signal to the PNP operatives and their surrogates that their politically orchestrated and contrived falsehoods will not be tolerated. I am among those.
All right, that is what the Labour Party put out. That statement came from the Labour Party. Harry, you are saying that the party should do more, eh?
Of course, neighbor. Understand this, the type of people that are at the People's National Party right now and what they're prepared to do. When you put them to the fire, if you're interested, them get burned. And this is not in terms of coming from a malicious or having any malicious intent, but I believe you have to lay down the law, put your foot down, and let them know what are the circumstances, what are the repercussions, and what you're prepared to do to make a lesson out of them. Neighbor, this message simply says, okay, I can say whatever I want to on the next election campaign and probably put on $2 million and settle.
Yes. How does it transmit a potent, powerful lesson to those out there right now spreading disinformation and misinformation? How does it do that?
Neighbor, anybody now can simply look at it and say, oh, I mean, it's the money, all right, but just, put on this just in case and say whatever you want. This is not, in terms of, because they use the word unequivocal. Neighbor, this leaves so many doubts. Because if it's going to be unequivocal, it means you're leaving no form of doubts. And right now, you don't send a strong message. You really don't. Because how much further? When we look and analyze what has happened to Vaz, 4 decades of this character assassination, how many elections have been gone, what his family would have gone through, right? The emotional and psychological damages that were done. And then when you look, and this is beyond money, speaking in terms of just for an individual, the level of stress. Neighbor, you can imagine how much time Vaz have to probably justify himself.
Yeah, and remember he says that he had to fight this within the party.
Exactly. Neighbor, he could have also been pushed out. We wouldn't have had a Darrell Vaz if the People's National Party was successful with this. We would have not had him in our Melissa.
Yes.
Understand what that means. And I'm not saying there wouldn't have been maybe someone else in the Jamaica Labour Party that could have stepped up. But understand what Vaz did. He was one of the men who spearheaded our recovery process and still is doing so. Right? You're telling me that man has gone through so much and this is what we settle for, a measly, half-hearted, unsincere type of apology. That's not putting your foot down. And this sends another message to your neighbor.
Uh-huh.
That criminals can also get away with things like this. No, you have to ensure that the law carries out in its entirety, and that wasn't the case. No.
Yes.
So if you're sending a strong message, because maybe our interpretation of strong and theirs are two total different things.
Yes.
Right? Even if you don't want to ruin Dayton Campbell's career and so on, you want to ensure that you put him in a position where every time he even think to tell a lie,
or any other member of the party. But did you hear Margot Morgan saying that this is almost orchestrated by the party, that they are on a deliberate smear campaign?
Then of course, neighbor, remember, if you look at the things they've done, and this is embedded, this is a part of the fabric they've woven for so many years. They've attacked every person they can. We've seen what they did with the lies they've told.
Yes. Golden, sir.
Exactly.
I tell you this, you see, Harry, and you're a young man, but I know you're a researcher. What was done to Golden, you see? When Golden, just a minute there. When Golden won the election, I think it was 32-31.
31, yeah, because there was 1 seat difference.
The PNP set out the same day, Miss Portia Simpson-Miller said she was going to be his worst nightmare. And you know that the PNP, sir, were trying to get back power through the courts. Yeah. That was why they had this dual citizenship thing, you know. That's what came out, you know, when the government had to conduct several by-elections at that time, you know, because the PNP thought that they would win them and retake power. And when they couldn't, you know, sir. Anyway, let me leave that history alone. Mr. Morgan is saying, Harry, that that this is a deliberate part of the strategy of the PNP to mash up people's reputation and all of that, man. Very, very, very unfortunate.
And I think they need to see the bigger picture, neighbor, because this was a moment where, for me personally, this is a drop ball moment. Right?
Yeah.
It was a layup in such a way where you send a message throughout society. Don't just look at the man across from you. You send, neighbor, we're going to, you think we hear misinformation yet?
Yes.
Just wait. And had you made a good example of somebody who we deemed at one of the highest levels in our society, you would send message to those who may fall below in the status quo. Whether that may be bloggers, vloggers, some people who just want to say random things. This is how you go about to ensure that you said, listen, that is the benchmark as to how we're going to treat every and anybody.
Yes.
Do something like this. And it doesn't have to be for a public figure, but anybody overall. That would have been the benchmark and the standard. But no, you ease it up. You let him off. You let it loose. Like, make an proper example of him. Maybe when growing up, you know, and you have siblings, and anybody who does something wrong, the punishment that they get is to deter anybody else who does something similar or give trouble. That is the whole idea of it, you know.
Yes.
But you think if I say my brother do something and him just get 2 slap. I look at it now and say, but 2 slap I don't know. And I brace to the 2 slap because I know I'm going to test those boundaries again.
Focus on that and say that.
And you can't do something like that, especially with what is coming. Because I tell you, we don't hear misinformation and disinformation yet. We don't hear character assassination yet.
Yeah.
Because they're going to gear up. You think these new members care about anything, neighbor? They're willing to go probably lower than any other members before them. And you have to nip it in the bud before them come up. And we've thrown away that opportunity.
Member, it's Speak Your Mind Thursday, and you have 3 guests online. Who you want to go to next?
We go to Mr. Vegas next, Mabel.
All right, bring him in, member.
Come in for a term, I hear today, you know. What's on your mind?
How are you? Good, everybody.
Good, man.
I have a different perception or a different way of looking at what happened in this situation. I think it played out the best way it should play out. Yeah, or should have been played out. The fact that we have a senior member of the People's National Party vindicating Mr. Vaz with something hanged over his head for so many years, and the senior member came public and said, I saw documentation that Mr. Vaz was not even in the island. That is not something to be taken lightly. Secondly, I think the damage that this has done to that senior member's career, political career, will be unrepairable. I think this is a very...
Please allow me to interrupt. Mr. Vegas, could you please speak a little louder, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did you hear anything that I said?
Yes, but very low.
Yeah, man, you were a little low on YouTube side. I was saying. Go ahead.
All right, so let me go again. I have a different approach or a different mindset or perspective.
Still very low.
Let me try something. 1 second. Sorry about that. I think I'll be fine now. How is it now?
Yeah, better.
All right. Yeah, so I have a different perspective from what happened. For what happened, I think Mr. Vaz has every reason to feel vindicated and feel his family, everyone, supposed to be in a great mood this evening, because this is something that was always there hanging, and people always use it to take jabs at Mr. Vaz. And to hear a senior member of the opposition party, in an apology, saying that he saw documentation of Mr. Vaz not even being in the island, I think that is something that money can't buy. I think it's the best situation, the best way it played out. And I think that I always have the members are very bright, educated, brilliant mind. I understand the politics and the bitterness of politics, and for whatever reason he thought he had to go out on a limb. I think because he know the ineffectiveness of Mark Golding's leadership and the likability of Mark Golding. And I think people around Mark Golding is always trying to do the extra and go the extra mile to try and get him to the place that he's trying to get to, which is going to be impossible. He's not a great leader. He's basically is a follower, in my opinion. I think he looks at what the bloggers are doing and he runs that way. And if there's a protest, he run go there with them and he will protest too. So I think that the people that are around him, even why the situation even happened in the first place, I think the member thought he had to go the extra mile and just to get some form of approval from Mark Golding. So this is a reflection on Mark Golding, and I think the member will suffer for years to come, maybe forever, from this. This is something in the public domain.
But Mr. Vegas, 40 years of suspicion, whispers, innuendos. As a matter of fact, Mr. Vaz said today that within the Jamaica Labour Party he has suffered. Mr. Vaz is not going to live, I'm not God, but based on human living years, Mr. Vaz barely have 40 years left. For the rest of Mr. Vaz's life, you think Mr. Vaz, you can erase this from his life?
I think for the rest of Mr. Vaz's life, we will remember and we will know that he was vindicated in the best way it could ever happen. This senior member of the opposition party came publicly and said Mr. Vaz was not in the island. That is not like a little man on the corner say it or a little vlogger say it. The man say he saw evidence.
Yes, and the Jamaica that Mr. Vegas, is a Jamaica that says, all right, Dayton Campbell say, I never true argument done.
Yes, And the Jamaica that I know will also remember that you lied on a person.
You think that the PNP bloggers by that? You think they are going to report that?
The PNP bloggers will not report this, but society at large and the people who it will impact, they will remember this brother. Mr. Vaz and his family, I saw the letter they released, and you can feel the mood of the letter. I'm telling you, his children who went to school throughout the years, hearing this is a clear victory for Mr. Vaz at this point of his life. It couldn't have come at a better time, and it couldn't have come from a more higher authority.
Yeah.
This is vindication.
Yeah. May I put it to you, Mr. Vegas, that psychologists have long recognized what is known as the continued influence effect. The continued influence effect is that even after people are told that the information is false, many continue to remember and subconsciously rely upon the original misinformation. In simple terms, people often remember the accusation far longer than they remember the correction. You don't think so?
We're in a different era now. We're in a digital era where Cardi B was able to sue Tasha K about something gruesome that she said, and the public at large got the truth, and they are totally against Tasha K for it. We're in a different cycle. Mr. Vaz and his family have every reason to feel vindicated today. This is not from a little corner youth. This is a doctor, medical doctor. Look at the impact that this may have on this person's credibility. Mr. Neighbor, this is not a bat up and catch something. Just look at this going forward. What are you going to say again for anybody to say it's credible? This is not a little vlog. This is not a little new PMP. It's not a little council. This is a major person, and I believe and I feel some form of empathy towards even him, because I realize that it's politics and it's very, very toxic, and he had to go out on a limb to fight for the party because the leader is weak.
Yes, and in that regard, the party is to be let off the hook at this point. Dr. Campbell's apology, you think settles it?
What I'm speaking, and I can't decide how they're gonna suffer, or how they're gonna suffer from this. Yeah, I'm just assuming. But what I'm saying is the part that I'm looking at is I think there is no amount of money, no amount of nothing else is more important to me at this point to hear a senior member, and I truly believe Mr. Vaz feels this way, and his family. A senior member, just make note of that, Mr. Neighbor. A senior member of the People's National Party. Yeah?
Yeah, but some would argue, Mr. Vegas, that Mr. Vaz, why didn't Dr. Campbell come out before and say this? Why did it take so long? And Dr. Campbell now may be forced by the courts, because Dr. Campbell said that his statements were true. He's not going to apologize, because he doesn't apologize on statements he made that were true. But at this point, Dr. Campbell, obviously recognizing that probably he's facing a monumental legal fee, decides that, hey, I'm going to retract it. Why did he come out before and do it?
Listen to me. You see, courthouse, and I want to know something. You see, I just wish I think the impact would have been less stingy, if I mean, if it was done earlier. Because
yes.
It would have just been campaign, verbiage and thereabout. But when you get to the point where the campaign is over, brother, we know, seeing everybody now in a more calm, in a more solemn mood, and then this is not good. This is not good. I'm telling you, I think the gentleman an aspiration to be more than just what he is in the People's National Party. I truly believe that the image was starting to change. All the things that were, trust me, because I think they.
You mean the dying of his beard?
I just know said it was a remake. It was an upgrade. You know. But the truth is, this is a setback, and this is vindication for Mr. Vaz. Just trust me, panic brother. Trust me.
So in a sense, Mr. Vegas, Margolin win again because now it's one less person to challenge him.
Well, if you want to look at it that way, but it's going to be more internal fighting. Just look at it that way too. Because you remember signing my general. You make me go do that, you know. Remember that, you know. That's something that coming up. It's you, McDemon, that out there behaving that on the white car glass, you know. And then you kick him to the curb, you know. It's not going to be pretty. Trust me, it's not going to be pretty. This is going to haunt them. This is not the end of it. And every time this conversation comes up, people will remember that you said something and you had to put out a public, not even like a paper days now, and a print media. I can see, just look at the video, man.
Yeah, got you, Mr. Vegas. Speak to the broader issue of the impact of this on public discourse in Jamaica and on political platforms going forward. Do you think things will change in terms of people will be more measured by what they say?
No. It's an uncontrolled environment that they're living in. They have no leader. But we're not talking about them. We're not talking about these vloggers when I have nothing for nobody sue them for. We're not talking about two little vloggers when it's a waste of time. We are talking about a senior member, a top ranking. Trust me, not one, not two, three. And I say it with all respect, even to the general, because I know that the political climate can cause this. But they have a leader who's weak. That's why it took the former speaker to bring her down to size. He couldn't bring her down to size. She was at her best behavior for the past since that was said.
Well, he said that he has endorsed them as the new breed. He called them that they are the future of Jamaica.
Brother, look at everyone around. The whole party is imploding. Look at the vloggers, all of them know internal fighting, everything. It's gonna be a problem. And this now that the person where everyone was looking at and saying, you know what, this change of image looks like it's heading in a direction of leadership. And I think he's very educated and able to lead it. But no, it's not a problem to jeopardy.
Oh, you are saying that you think that Dayton was positioned to aspire to leadership.
He's a medical doctor, educated. He's an educated general with a law degree, you know.
Well,
Is that a scrub, you know?
Yes.
He's going to be. Just wait and see me. There's going to be problems because this all happened because whosoever was around are trying to get this man elected. They realized his shortcomings and they had to go on a limb. They had to get him drop off in the breeze when Andrew Wilness won back the election.
Well,
they went all in. You know, they put a tail and you go all in with deuces.
Yes.
They went all in. And that is the problem, the impact, the negative impact this will cause. It will be unrepairable. Because now them top striker. This is, come on, neighbor. Neighbor, this is the man of the vice, you know, man.
Yeah.
And this is the commander, and this is when the man talking, thunder rolling, brother.
Yeah,
Check what go on, man.
he is
And so the
there.
man come forward and say nobody can touch the leader, you know. They
Yeah.
don't come through we, you know. Then if the top striker know, have to be out there looking pitiful. What do you think, my boss? You know, see goal on a keeper. You know, see what go on. You see the whole team mash up.
Yeah. Thanks for the perspective, Mr. Vegas. Great.
You got me, General.
Thank you. Well, that's a good perspective from Mr. Vegas there. What do you think about it? We have a couple people here. Fitwater, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, how's it going, neighbor?
I'm not bad at all, man. Hi.
Good. Okay, my take on this, neighbor, is this literally could be a teaching moment for Jamaica.
Yes.
And I'm thinking that Mr. Dayton or Dr. Dayton Campbell should make this be a teaching moment.
Uh-huh.
I think he should come out, like even over on your live right now, and tell the people how wrong he was to do what he did.
Uh-huh.
Explain to the people how this can hurt, how what he did can hurt someone's career and all of that. Explain it to the people. The other thing he needs to do is to advise the comrades that you just can't go around and make up stories and tell lies on people like that.
Yes.
You have to have evidence. If you're going to come out and you have to say, allegedly you heard something or this was reported. You can't come out blatantly and say, this is this and that is that. So it's a teaching moment that I think.
What about Vegas's perspective? Do you agree with him?
Well, what Vegas says, I'm not 100. I really just think it's a teaching moment. I'm not totally disagreeing with Vegas, but I think Mr. Campbell should make it a teaching moment, and this will help. In fact, if he does that,
You are talking about Dr. Campbell himself using this as an teaching moment about processes that Dr. Campbell is to do that, sir?
yes, for Jamaica.
But you really sure you are making a request that is feasible? Dr. Campbell is going to come out and do that?
I don't know. I don't know, neighbor. But the bottom line is, this is what we need, though. We need this because we're going to have other people do the same thing over and over and over again. This could be the teaching moment where you say, know what? We cannot continue to do these things and hurt other people. The other thing that is going on, neighbor, that he could also add to what this is the threats. People are going around on the internet and making threats willy-nilly to people. Just, you know how many threats I got? You know how many threats I got?
Why? What are they threatening you for? What are they threatening you for?
Because I'm out on the internet and because I defend what is going on with the government right now, and then they are telling lies and I counter their lies. They threaten my life several times.
What you saying to me?
Yes. These are the things that need to be talked about, because it seems as if a lot of Jamaicans doesn't know that freedom of speech is not unlimited speech. And they feel like they can come out and say anything, and they don't understand that when they make a threat to somebody, even though you are not in front of the person, it's a threat. It is a criminal offense.
Oh gosh.
A lot of people don't know that, especially the comrades. So I think Dr. Campbell, it's an opportunity for him to teach the people of Jamaica, and especially his comrades, what they can do and what they shouldn't do.
Well, maybe they should have added that in the conditions of the apology.
So again, neighbor?
Maybe they could have added that as part of the conditions for the apology.
I think, well, that Mr. Baz should have done that. Mr. Vaz should have done that. Mr. Vaz was very lenient. What about $1.5 million in 6 months? Are you crazy, Mr. Vaz?
My understanding is that is just to cover the legal fees, though, you know.
I think he was very lenient. He should have put some more conditions to it. That is my point.
Good point. Harry?
Yes, neighbor.
What do you think about what Waterman is saying there?
No, they knew they had the upper hand in a neighbor, right? They knew what the truth is, and I think they went out to be, I wanted to be nice to say gentleman-like.
Yes.
And to not want to come off to the people of Jamaica as if they are getting in the mud to what the People's National Party is willing to do.
Yes.
But the truth is, you can execute without going into the mud. And leniency was the order of the day. I think they say when you get older, neighbor, you get a little softer, and I think that might be at play as well.
Yes.
Right? Because how resolute you would be and firm in your youthful time, as you get older, you, of course, a little bit more wisdom and you get a little wiser, but you become really and truly softer. I think it's a natural order of being a human, and I think that also was at play. But the truth is, even so, you could have laid down firmly to ensure that the lesson is learned, because I can tell a neighbor, many others won't. The only problem in terms of, let me reach over to Mr. Viga's side, is that Dayton Campbell, if he had any form of admiration aspiration, to challenge for leadership, that is out the window. But that in itself would not still be enough if you want to send a message, especially to the new breed.
Do you think, Mr. Enriquez, that our society is at the point where an apology like this impacts the receiver more than the person giving the apology? In other words, do you think Jamaica is mature enough to say, okay, you are wrong to have accused Mr. Vaz. We are going to withdraw support from you?
We are that mature, neighbor. In fact, they understand the magnitude of this. This has spanned across almost 2 generations. It crossed into a second generation because each generation is 30 years. This is 40 years worth of this hanging around Vaz's neck. And you can't undo what the previous generation learned. Neighbor, this cross boundaries,
I agree with you.
Hearing this,
Yes.
Right?
You are not 40 yet, remember?
No, neighbor.
Oh my God.
I grew up hearing this. And it doesn't matter what I would have said to people growing up to say, hey, this don't make no sense, whatever. They held on to it. The evidence was there before. Nobody cared for it. We have to understand the type of society that Jamaica is. We're very unique in a neighbor.
Yes, we are.
You know, we approach so many things.
Scratchy speaks of that every day.
Of course. And especially, you have this thing, and I've been saying it. Belief has been trumping facts far too often in this day and age. Because people will just say, neighbor, and this is one of the first things they'll run to. Oh, Vaz have connection, so him couldn't do anything to settle it, so it not seem so bad.
Right.
That's belief. That is what they're going to run and jump with, because I can tell you, and I learned this recently, neighbor, how people interpret things. What you say, right, will mean different things to people. Not because you say it differently, not because they are looking at the words differently, but because they actually are looking at it through their experiences. And you can't fault them for that. But you also can't correct it because it is their lived experiences. They will see it how they want to see it, and you can't control that. But what you can do, neighbor, in a case like this, is to ensure you send the message that even if you interpret it differently from everybody else, 100 different interpretations, the end result is to say, I should not do this because the law doesn't facilitate that, or this is the repercussions if I do it. That is a safety net you have in this case, you know. Because I can tell you, I won't be surprised if the talking point now is that, you know, Vaz just settled this and we still believe him do it.
The fact, Harry, is that reputation is unlike property. A stolen car can be replaced. Money can be repaid. A damaged reputation can linger for decades because it exists not in one place but in thousands of minds. And so once doubt has been planted, complete restoration is extraordinarily difficult.
Yeah. And especially this is a man winding down his career as a businessman, his political career as well, and also as a public figure. This is at his sunset, neighbor, of those things. So he would have spent so much time with this hanging over him that I don't think an apology is sufficient, right? And I know there are many lessons to be learned from it, and you could have, as Waterman said, you could have put in certain clauses, and I don't think Dayton would have objected to it if the alternative is worse. And I suspect the alternative would have been worse had it gone fully through the courts. So you wanted to leverage that as best as possible to ensure that the family gets some form of recourse. It is put to bed in terms of the political arena, which is the apology, and also to ensure, neighbor, that Dayton Campbell himself sends a message to anybody, both his colleagues and otherwise, sends a message to say, this isn't right, and let's not do it. That is how you would have started to shape and possibly change the minds of people, because this is a man now who would have been coming out to say, it is wrong, and I'm imploring others not to do it. It's almost like you catch a criminal doing something, neighbor, and you have him giving the lessons onto those persons of society to show, you've been reformed to a great extent and so on. Pleading to say, let's not make yourself an example of this. Avoid it. Abstain from doing such things. But we didn't walk away today after that apology with any of those things. That's why I say I don't think it's sufficient at all.
Fantastic. We have Scratchy, we have Mr. Dobney, and we have Phyllis all waiting. Hello, Phyllis. Phyllis? Talk your mind, Thursday. Phyllis, are you on? No. Let's go to Scratchy, and then we'll come to Mr. Dobney. Scratchy? Hi, Scratchy. Scratchy, the Campbell apology is occupying our minds a little bit tonight. It's actually 13 after 9 o'clock. I made a point earlier that, the party members were very cordial to Mr. Campbell. We saw them laughing, and Dr. Campbell issued his apology. How do you see this?
I tend to see these things from a different angle, neighbor. I heard a person saying that this might any aspiration Dr. Campbell had to become the leader of the PNP. This man glitter anything, neighbor. I really don't see that. I don't see that. I don't see that. I just can't see it. I mean, Dr. Campbell, neighbor, apology, neighbor. He's definitely neighbor. The fact that he came out to apologize, neighbor, that's the first politician to do this, neighbor. I definitely don't think he will be the last either. But what I can say, neighbor, that my grandmother always tell me that sometimes, neighbor, is not what you do, but it's how you do it.
Yes.
And I think it's because of the rhetoric that was coming from Dr. Campbell. Dr. Campbell's stance on the whole matter. Dr. Campbell behavior and his style of delivery, where he deliver the type of misinformation or disinformation. So it is more. I think right now it is more a political banter, more than anything else now where we can laugh back at him and play back certain clippings and say, you didn't say nothing to apologize and look at you now apologizing. But never, in terms of our society things, never, I don't see it never creating any big problem or creating any big issue or anything in terms of Dr. Campbell, never. But I can definitely tell you, neighbor, that it's vindication also for Mr. Vaz. Definitely some form of vindication, neighbor. We who understand the system to a certain level, we who understand who know law enforcement and the court work, can say that this is definitely vindication. But let's ask ourselves now, whatever information that Dr. Campbell spewed that caused him to apologize, will the fact that Dr. Campbell having to apologize right now suddenly kill that information and just rip it out of society?
Yes.
And persons now with the zip, I won't hear about that going forward again. I don't think so, neighbor.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. People will definitely continue to say what they want to say. People are going to continue to make them to say whatever they want to say about it or stuff like that. But definitely, neighbor, Dr. Campbell's style, Dr. Campbell's behavior, definitely neighbor called for him to apologize. And I'm glad he did that apology. I'm glad after I like some of the terms that was also a part of the whole thing. But we can also see, neighbor, that we can also see clearly that Mr. Vaz's intention was just to get an apology, a public apology from Mr. Campbell, because Mr. Dawes could have went further, neighbor. Mr. You know, the damages that something like that can cause, neighbor. Mr. Vaz could have went further. But we saw that Mr. Vaz was very lenient and very understanding. I was just trying to prove that whatever people have to say about this, we can prove, because they said that there's an important document that was provided by Mr. Dawes, by Mr. Vaz lawyers that really prove his point that whatever Dr. Campbell said out of mouth is rubbish and is liable. And that's what we see happening, neighbor. So I can say, neighbor, I like the fact that he apologized. I like the fact that the court asked him to apologize. And it proved that whatever him said never goes so. But in terms of affecting his chance of being the People's National Party leader, if he wanted to be the leader of PNP, I don't see that affecting his chances, neighbor. I don't see this causing much problem for Dr. Campbell going forward, more than just political banter. Right now, how long that banter might last.
Do you think that the society would have learned anything from this, Scratchy, in terms of how people act, being responsible? Do you think that there is going to be any withholding, toning down of how people operate online? Any positive for the society?
From in terms of broader society, neighbor, I don't see personally. Yes, so the period of time when the matter is very active right now here in the media, yes, there might be some tone down, but in terms of broader society, I don't see much being toned down. But in terms of neighbor within Dr. Campbell chambers from a political standpoint being a part of the opposition, I expect neighbor that the opposition members seeing what that Dr. Campbell was brought before the court, neighbor, and he had to release a public apology. It make it look it create some political banter for you. And I know that a lot of them don't want any of that on them. So I expect neighbor that within the political chamber, the opposition neighbor, I expect that there will be some form of understanding now, and persons might know better package whatever they have to say, neighbor, and make sure whatever they are saying now, neighbor, have some merit or facts to it. But in terms of wider society, I really don't, neighbor, because as you can see, neighbor, Dr. Campbell was not asked to go spend any time in jail. And wider society, neighbor, tend to view things from a different angle, like how we view things. They have to believe, neighbor, that if a man down the jail time for something, him not do nothing wrong.
Yeah. Scratchy, I argued earlier that the fact that Campbell continues as usual, he's General Secretary, member of the Electoral Commission. I saw him today on the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee in Parliament. That somehow, Scratchy, it is coming across as a little slap on Dr. Campbell's wrist. And I just feel that the allegations made by Dr. Campbell were of such importance. And well, not importance, but they were so huge that I'm not sure that Dr. Campbell should repose confidence in a lot of these things that he's doing now. What do you think?
Definitely, neighbor that it went through the courts, neighbor, and some form of conclusion to be made, neighbor. Recommendations were made and things were asked of Dr. Campbell to be done, both publicly, so apology and others. I definitely would say, neighbor, that being a member, neighbor, I've been a part of a lot of these key rules that he currently hold, neighbor. These are the things that civil society should come out and call for resignation for. The mere fact that they went on a political platform, something so liable, saying that someone is responsible for whatever, for taking the life of an next person, that is a very serious allegation. So I definitely never think that, neighbor, especially from the Electoral Commission standpoint, neighbor, I think that's some new, neighbor, that Dr. Campbell should step aside from, neighbor. Because he has proved himself, neighbor, to be someone, neighbor, who speak things that are not and to make wild and unlawful allegations against persons. I would definitely say that.
Well, fantastic. Hold on there, Scratchy. Dobney, let me hear you on this. Coming to your chops.
Yes, neighbor. Very pointed and very prominent discussion, and the direction that it's taking is highlighting that which we have already determined in our minds, that the PNP en bloc, including Dayton Campbell, has proven themselves to be a party of propaganda and lies. And in the spirit of sensationalism, they are willing to go on a platform and tell lies about individuals. And we know the objectives of the PNP, indeed the leadership of the PNP, to become character assassinators in order to derail the objectives of the Jamaica Labour Party. We know that is a primary objective. What has happened with Minister Vaz doing the right thing, allowing the courts to determine the validity of what Dayton Campbell did. He also blatantly declared that what he did is the truth. That's another situation that must be dealt with in a very serious manner, and the public must have its own opinion on this. Remember, neighbor, I said this, anything coming out of the PNP leadership must be looked at with squinted eyes. They are a set of liars, misinformers, and are hell-bent on derailing the progress of this government and also to misguide the Jamaican people. So if you're an opposition and you are expected to be seen as a credible opposition, people of integrity, people of believability should be part of your or we see you. The question we ask ourselves, can we reasonably look at the PNP, Dayton Campbell, the General Secretary, the leader, their utterances has gone against good sense, and it has shown that they are a reckless group of persons that must never be taken seriously. It therefore means that whatever is Dayton Campbell's aspiration to become the leader, to determine the reason why he makes the decision to apologize, coupled with pressure from the courts and this pressure of additional sanctions if it is not done, is very clear for us to see. He would normally not have done it, because the pathway of the People's National Party, Dayton Campbell et al., is about derailing this government. And that is what it is through character assassination.
Yes.
Bring down the leader. Bring down Daryl Vaz. Bring down Andrew Wheatley. Bring down all the in other words, I'm sure they have a list. I'm sure they are targeting specific people who are part of what you call the energy of the Jamaica Labour Party. It therefore means that having Dayton Campbell issue an apology is not coming from his heart. It is coming from a system direction. And when you are expected to be a credible individual and the system has to force you to do something, we don't take it for what it is. We know Dayton Campbell is a liar. And look here, KD Knight spoke about that reality, you know. They are pathological liars. And the fact that it comes from the annals of the PNP about lies, pathological liars, mentation, all those words to describe these individuals.
You are saying that it is the system. Hold on there, Dobney. You are saying that it is the system that forced Campbell out here.
Absolutely. I make no apologies about saying that. He would normally not have done it, because just before the court hearing, he made it very pointedly clear that it is true, and we not take back that. What then should we now believe? That he's now all of a sudden becomes a man of integrity, a man of caliber. This should be a teaching moment. There is no teaching.
Hold on there, Mr. Dobney. Break up there. Hold on there, Dobney. You have to repeat that. You are making a fundamentally good point.
What we must have.
Boy, I tell you something.
There's no teaching moment coming from Dayton Campbell, who has made himself culpable on several counts.
Yes.
And if this system didn't.
No. Producer.
Force him to do
Hold on there, Mr. Dobney. You're coming in. You're coming in and out, and what you're saying is so important that I want you to repeat it. Can you just check your signal there, Mr. Dobney, or is on my end? Producer, tell me, are you hearing me?
Are you hearing me well?
I
am hearing you very well.
Yeah, but you are breaking up.
All right, are you hearing me well now?
I'm hearing you better. Mr. Dobney. I want you to double down on what you have said. Are you saying to me?
All right, let me see.
Okay. No.
There is no teaching moment in this neighbor coming from Dayton Campbell. In other words, the entire student population would have wanted to learn something, the entire student population being Jamaica, who would have wanted to learn something from it. It's not coming, it's not about Dayton Campbell at this point in time. There's no teachability coming from him.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Dobney, before you move on. Do you think that this matter would have, in any way, you're a member of the party, would have affected the party internally? Is this something that affected the party?
From a Dayton Campbell perspective, yes, but at the end of the day, the damage to the People's National Party by the pathways or their actions of lies and misinformation is something that everybody can validate. We can validate it locally, we can validate it regionally, and we can validate it internationally. The PNP has no credibility. This defining moment, however, is an opportunity based on the actions brought against him by Darrell Vaz. It's not so much for him to pay with cash. Darrell Vaz don't want Dayton's money. What Darrell Vaz wants to do is set an example of an individual who feels that he's untouchable. And that is what we must get out of all of this. Because Dayton Campbell and his party has no credibility, you know. There's nothing plausible for us to say about them in this regard. Not even the apology is a plausible one, because they would not voluntarily have done it. They have not suddenly realized that the pathway of misinformation and lies and character assassination is suddenly a thing that to be considered a taboo. It is part of their gene now. It is part of their DNA. In other words, the DNA that is ascribed to them now, based on their behavioral patterns. The leader, Dayton himself, all of them has positioned themselves as counterproductive to the transformative mission of the Jamaica Labour Party, indeed Team JLP and the government of our country, which I'm sure is operating for both PNP and JLP. So what the PNP has done, they have demonstrated that they do not intend to allow not even the PNP to benefit from the positives taking place in our nation. And they cannot be brought to the fore now where any positives is concerned. Within context, if we must look at their script and to suggest that this part of it might seem genuine, but the scripts of expressions from all of them within the past years and months to days, has suggested that if a part of it seems credible, the majority of it has no credibility. And the people who wants us now to believe that Dayton Campbell, all of a sudden, there is a defining moment in his expression, in his presence, in his aspirations. None of that matters to us right now because we know who they are. And nothing they say matters right now, neighbor. And we must accept that reality.
You are saying the whole party is tainted. Hold on there for me, Mr. Dobney. Let's go to Chops. Hello, Chops.
Greetings, neighbor.
I see my listeners itching to hear your perspective on this, Mr. Chops Media. I see you're a very popular man here. Go ahead, sir. Tell us what you think about all of this.
May I just interrupt for a second, please? Mr. Vega said he only had another point to make. Can we just allow him before Chops come in, please?
Okay.
Yeah, man, thanks for that. Neighbor, you know what I want you to look at quickly?
Yes.
What impact this will have if the no government, decide to move with the criminal libel law.
Oh.
This can be something that can use to fuel that agenda. So Chops can maybe talk some more about that. But I just want to point that out to you because now you have a reason to push for it, more reason to push for it. You understand? And his name will be the center of it.
Well, the libel law is already there, you know.
Whatever they were trying to do to it the other day, Chops, to make it more, you know, whatever.
Yeah, they were trying to broaden it, I think, to involve some aspect of social media and also electronic. There was some strengthening of it, but it is there, and this is a proof. This is proof that it is actually active. The point I was trying to make earlier, gentlemen and ladies, is that there's an aspect of the settlement that remains undisclosed. Yeah, if you notice, both parties, the plaintiff and the defendant, both make mention of not disclosing certain details, and I think those details that would not have been discussed in the open field would have been the compensation amount. I'm quite certain that there are more to the compensation than just that. It was 3 persons who had a lawsuit against Dayton, and each were in the amount of about $18 to $20 million. So you look at about $60 million total, they're about $50-60 million. Now, and what was disclosed in the amount that was asked of him to pay was a measly $1.5 million. But it was not just $1.5 million, it was $1.5 million to cost. And that has to be noted carefully. It says towards cost. So that aspect goes, whether it is to court fees or whatever the other thing is, or, you know. But the aspect that has not been discussed is the bigger lump sum part of it, which we might not hear anything about. But I do not, and that is just to quell the concerns of the persons who believe that he got off easy and it was a slap on the wrist. I don't believe it was. And here's why. These things are not settled in isolation of a whole lot of other things. You're dealing with a political party. You're dealing with 2 political parties. You're dealing with a comment that was made on a political platform. You're dealing with an environment, a heavily charged political environment where utterances are coming from both sides, and defamatory accusation is being leveled on both sides. So bear in mind that sometimes when an individual requires a cease and desist, or issues a cease and desist, or an apology, demand an apology from somebody, or drag somebody before the court, sometimes they do it not necessarily to get $1 from you, but one, to silence you. Two, is to use that as leverage for something else. I don't know if you guys understand how this works in the political space, but leverage is one of the most important things in these kind of matters. Because remember, there are other instances where persons on the JLP side would have been accused also. So what usually happens when these things are discussed, it's not just discussed as individual, it also have a party discussion too, or a political discussion. And in those political discussion, it will now come down to, but neighbor, you drag me through the court, and I have Caroline in the courts too. Caroline is here lucky. And if you squeeze me, I'm gonna squeeze her. So what? Make we talk. And don't be fooled. Those discussion takes on these kind of conversations too, You won't hear it in the public space because it's not for public consumption. But those kind of discussions take place when these matters are.
I get you, Chuck. But what it is that that we need to communicate to the public that at this point. What should the public walk away from this case understanding? Especially the functionaries. In other words, those people who are in the public space speaking on behalf of both parties.
Right. Well, what it should send, the signal it should send to every individual who takes up a phone and click a live and believe that they can amplify what they concoct in their own minds, or what the talking points that have been issued to them under some table. And they believe they can come out without verifying information and speak on it publicly. I think this is an eye-opener that it is big money. It is, as I would say in the streets these days, this is big man ball game. So if it is that you have a big mouth and you feel like you can come out there and carry on a particular way, then you also must be prepared to face the consequences. And what we have seen in this particular instance is that the consequences are dire. You could be dipping in your pocket deep, or you could be required to make public apologies and lower your statute in the space, because make no mistake about it, as a lot of people might look at it as somewhat trivial, but Dayton has been really brought down to a level that he himself never prepared for. Dayton Campbell is the most flamboyant member of the PNP during the campaign period. When he speaks, the entire PNP base listens. And he had no qualms about throwing these innuendos and misinformation at them because it riles up the base.
Yes.
The signal that this matter sends is that going into the next general election, or even the local government election, one will now have to be very careful on some of the things that is being said. No. Because misinformation and innuendos and accusation of all sorts is a part of the PNP's mantra. It is what they do. Their approach is coordinated around misinformation. So when misinformation is being challenged in a legal way like this one just did, what it chips away from the PNP, it chips away an important feature of their political campaigning. It is going to be interesting now to see when a Dayton Campbell walks on stage and will now have to present factual information, will now have to do some homework in terms of coming up with alternative to what the government policies are. how is he going to now rile up a base that he has built out on misinformation? How is he going to do it now, knowing very well that every time that he's placed on a poster to appear at one of the PNP's conference, we, and I said we, because all of us will be there listening to him to see whether or not he's going to make certain accusations that the authorities will have to know about. So not only this benefit Mr. Vaz and the other gentlemen, and Mr. Vaz in particular, because Darrell has been going through this whole nonsense for decades now. And people have been utilizing this argument every time an election comes up. And there are others who have made those comments. I think Darrell should go after them too. I don't think he should stop at Dayton. I think he should go for the others and set the example right across the board. Because not only has this moved away something from Darrell that has been lingering over his head for decades, it also moved away from the PNP, a very important piece of their campaign strategy. And I think it is going to hurt them going into a next campaign, because it is now forcing the PNP to become a more productive opposition and not just dwelling on misinformation, innuendos, and accusation all over the place. That's how I look at it.
But Chops, do you think, would it be fair ball game now for the Jamaica Labour Party to call for a message from the opposition leader?
Well, the opposition leader is also guilty of some of the same actions of Darrell, you know, and not Darrell, of Dayton, right? He's also guilty of some of those behaviors, and one should. I would make a statement on it, because one of the things that the PNP likes to do also is to stay silent on important issues that has to do with morality or decency. They'll stay silent on it. So I wouldn't count my last dollar thinking that he's going to make a public statement on it, even if he's pressed.
I'm happy you touch on the morality aspect of things, Chops, because now I'm pointing the arrow to civil society. Where are they on this matter?
Well, again, there you go. Now, that is the angle I want you to go from, because the truth is, gentlemen and ladies, is that when these matters of importance to the country comes up, it is usually the civil society groups that you want to hear from. But because this is something that sort of, it's not going after the ruling party. So you will not get anything from civil society. I doubt it very much. I would not put my last dollar on that either. They're not going to speak on it. They're going to remain silent.
Okay. Well, all right. Now maybe I should come back to you, Harry. On the matter of the libel matter that Mr. Vegas raised. You can shed some light on that for me?
Yeah, sure, neighbor. So it's still the same act from 2013. The only difference is that we haven't referred to it as the libel law. Still, persons refer to it because of the terminology, but what they would have done was put both libel and slander together and put it under the defamation law that was from 2013. In terms of what would have happened with it, it does have a time span. So if you don't file a claim within 2 years, then that would have been pretty much water under the bridge, because it would have passed that statutory limitation to take any action. I'm not sure in terms of any amendments that our conversation I was having around it to change any of that information thus far. But as it stands, it's broken down in quite a number of ways, neighbor, because there's no real jail time whatsoever when it comes on to it. So any statements that are made, you don't necessarily get a jail time for it. So it's mostly fines that will come with it. But I do know from memory there's quite a breakdown because media also has some level of protection under it. Some stuff like you'd have like a fair comment. So if a statement is honest, right, not a statement of fact, based on true facts and pertains to a matter of public interest. So it's broken down in so many different areas to help innocent dissemination. So you have a lot of people who can claim innocent dissemination because of how it comes out. So the media outlets are protected, are individuals who unknowingly, and the key term here, neighbor, is unknowingly, which is something that is very hard to prove because you can't tell me, so me know it.
Right.
And you can't say, I know of the literature being put out that has the facts, right? So that one makes it tricky. So the media specifically can claim on that, but it says it protects media outlets or individuals who unknowingly distribute defamatory material, right? Provided that they took quote unquote reasonable care and were not the primary authors. So what that simply means is somebody can send, and Chops, let me use you as an example. So I can send something to Chops, and Chops go live and read it, but it's not coming from Chops. Chops wasn't the source, right? And as such, if the claim is put against Chops, not me, against Chops, then Chops would basically walk scot-free because he's not the source, and he wouldn't knowingly know that the information being put out is one that will defame or is untrue. So they have quite a number of broken down parts to it for different entities. And I won't go into too much of that for tonight, just to give the listeners an idea as to what it is and what it encompasses.
Fantastic. Let me ask you something, Scratchy. Scratchy, the country is struggling with the whole matter of disinformation, which is malicious. The misinformation is a mistake. Disinformation is quite malicious. At a time when we are even struggling with this TCN matter, Scratchy, don't you think that we ought to use this moment to have a conversation on responsible communication from political platforms and from functionaries online?
Absolutely. Definitely, that's where we should go, neighbor. Things like this, neighbor, that's definitely why we have this kind of discussion, so that persons can learn from these type of situations. Persons can understand that whatever you say, you can't just come on a public platform, that be social media, traditional media, publicly, and just come spew whatever you feel like you want to spew, and try to put people character in a disarray for people to speculate and think whatever they want to think. So definitely, I call for some form of concern, and I call for some form of discussion as well. More importantly, some form of discussion. But in our society, neighbor, this is not what's going to make headline for a very long period of time. Because we know how biased information is in our country, neighbor. They tend to see the governing party more attractive. They tend to feel like the governing attractive news that concern the governing party, neighbor, is more worthy, is more newsworthy, is more saleable. They can more make money off that. So anything that comes from the opposition, neighbor, media houses, civil society groups, all of them, neighbor, they tend to stay no money, And my thing earlier, neighbor, for saying that from a political standpoint, or for Dr. Campbell wanting to seek leadership of the PNP, I don't see it affecting him. My reason for saying that is because we know the standard of the PNP, but they have no standard, and Dr. Campbell, they won't judge Dr. Campbell based off of this, neighbor. I don't see a delegate or anyone with any voting power who have any authority who become the leader of the party. The first thing we can do, I can't stop Dr. Campbell from being the party. From being the leader of the PNP, I don't think any of us on this platform can either, If you look at it from that standpoint here, but I don't see at least voting person saying that I'm not going to vote for Dr. Campbell because Dr. Campbell tell lie on Daryl Vaz. I just can't see that. I don't see no name saying that I'm not going to vote for Dr. Campbell because he apologized to Daryl Vaz. I just can't see that, So I definitely don't see him there in his chances or whatever I want to become the leader of the PNP, because they have no standard over there. But in terms of becoming the Prime Minister of Jamaica now, neighbor, we're talking about a different ball game. So Dr. Campbell neighbor, something neighbor, I gladly turn out with his neighbor. As Chaps Media highlighted earlier, there are some aspects of the whole thing that is sealed. That we might never get the light of the might never hear what really the details. I saw a little clippings where when the reporter asked Dr. Campbell about to highlight what was in that, I saw the look on his face. I know quick he jumped up and said, no, we're not going to talk about that. So it definitely showed that there's something here that they don't want the public to hear. And trust me, they might be right here, but it might be a higher compensation and stuff like that. But definitely, neighbor, lesson that will be learned by the PNP members going forward. But however, do neighbor, I don't see the misinformation or the disinformation in terms of government policies, neighbor, being changed by the PNP, neighbor. What I see change going forward, neighbor, is the personal attacks. You might say a calm down, neighbor, and a total shutdown of how they attack persons' character personally and what they say about persons personally. But in terms of the misinformation and the disinformation in terms of government policies and government programs, I don't see them changing them stancing towards that, neighbor.
Do you agree with Mr. Morgan, Minister Morgan, that this is a part of the PNP's ideology, part of their strategy? That's how they campaign. Do you agree with it?
Definitely, neighbor. Key part of who they are, neighbor. I agree 100% with that statement, neighbor.
That's how they campaign.
That's how they campaign, neighbor. That's how they campaign. If you look at the last general election, which is very recent, I can remember, neighbor, every single political campaign, as Chaps Media say, he's very flamboyant. He sometimes he come out like he's a pastor or a deacon, He knows how to rally the crowd. He knows how to get them base jump up and rally and feel good. And when he talk about these things, despite them talking about the policies and programs, but when them touch the personal attack, they realize that the crowd love it and them buy into it and them play into it. So you should definitely never cause some form of caution going forward. Persons see what happened and persons see what can go forward, And the last point I want to make, Trust me, I said something very important again. It's about leverage, neighbor, because we have to understand, neighbor, that this thing can become a tit for tat now in the neighbor.
Yes.
Yes, this thing can become a tit for tat, neighbor. The court can be flooded right now, neighbor. With lawsuit coming from both political parties, So I just,
oh my.
So trust me, that's 100% correct, neighbor, when it's talk about leverage, neighbor. It's all about leverage, neighbor, so you hold some form of leverage. So that a favor goes for a favor. That's what my grandmother always said, So definitely, neighbor.
Let me ask you. You live in Canada, Scratchy, and one of the things I don't like about my country is that in many mature democracies, senior officials resign not only because they acted maliciously, but because they exercised poor judgment. I see what is happening to Nigel Farage in the United Kingdom. If a general secretary, Scratchy, of a national political party repeats allegations that ultimately have no evidentiary basis and later issues an unequivocal apology, don't you think that general secretary ought to relieve himself of that position?
Most definitely, neighbor, because a position like that, neighbor, and something where it's coming off a political platform, neighbor, we definitely send a message, neighbor, that whatever was said by the general secretary, neighbor, is the definite message of the party, neighbor.
Yes.
And if it's a message of the party, neighbor, and based on the pronouncement of the court, and whatever come out of the court of the land, neighbor, show that the party is in error. So we definitely ask the general secretary to step down, because we definitely want to distance ourselves, neighbor, from a party standpoint, from what the general secretary.
But that is not our culture in Jamaica.
No, not our culture. I can tell you something that happened the other day, neighbor, in Canada, neighbor. The CEO of Air Canada, neighbor, Air Canada plane admitting some form of accident over there in New York City airport, neighbor. And Canada is a country, neighbor. Majority of the population speaks English, neighbor. There's a small part of the population that speak French, and they're pushing French on a lot of other part of the population. And neighbor, when the CEO of the Air Canada, neighbor, released a statement, neighbor, he only released a statement in English, neighbor. And he had to step down the next couple of days.
My God.
Because he didn't release a statement in French also.
Yes. Yeah. We we have to look at these things in Jamaica, Scratchy. Yeah.
That's definitely have to look at it, neighbor. It's something, neighbor, we have to definitely look at, neighbor. Persons need to take their reputation in a more serious, neighbor. And as we said, most of us on the platform can agree, neighbor, we do have in civil society. Because these are the things that civil society should come out and speak on. These are the things that really concern and civil society. Okay, from a level, from a moral standpoint, it's in the best interest of the country and the party, nobody for this man step aside. Because once you go before the court of the land, and the court decision is fine, and the court says okay, and you have to come out and make a public apology. And sometimes, neighbor, it is not what you do, neighbor, it's how you are doing it. Because the guy have statement out there, neighbor, the guy is saying that he not apologize to nothing, that is truth.
That is correct, yes. Right.
The guy have statement like that out there, the guy have statement out there where he's so wrong and strong, and so strong and wrong. But the guy is still going around and spewing it, neighbor, and the type of misinformation that they put out there. It's a very serious one that can really damage someone's character and cause person to think otherwise about the person.
Yeah.
So definitely about something that he should step aside and a lot of things there. But at the same time, based on our society, we won't see it's going to be a tit for tat. You're going to say why that person they don't step aside. We're going to ask him to step aside now. That's it.
And probably if we call for it, they're going to start calling for others to resign to it.
Exactly, that's it for that.
Yeah. Finally, Mr. Dobney, at 5 minutes to 10, wrap up your thoughts on this.
Yes, I think we have learned a lot from this situation, and I am 100% sure. Well, I am cautious in giving 100% certainty on the matter that Dayton Campbell will not return to his old ways, but he may very well be more measured in how he make pronouncement on the political platform, and even in the presence of the press conference scenarios that may very well merit an expression to this effect. So I think that will be more measured, and I think our nation in general, our country in general, our people can learn something from this, because I think it's a defining moment on both political sides to ensure that their political rhetoric, their expressions on the political platform is laced with truth, facts, and by extension, ensure that you're not making these statements based on a desire to tear somebody apart, even when you have not done your research. So I think we can learn a lot, and I think we should learn from it, notwithstanding how it happens. But at the end of the day, the PNP must do its internal introspection and determine whether or not people within its ranks can just speak arbitrarily without any sanction whatsoever. And by extension, the Jamaica Labour Party in itself has to also take a cue from what is happening here, that Daryl Vaz brought a case against Dayton Campbell. Then we also have to look at our own people and determine how we become much more measured in our expressions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dobney. Catch you on Saturday.
No problem.
Great. Well, listeners, Chops Media, he has an article on Substack, and is entitled "The Integrity Commission is Busy, but is Jamaica becoming more accountable?" Let me read a little bit from it. The 2025-2026 annual report demonstrates an institution working hard, but does it prove the country is winning the fight against corruption? Writes Chops Media. Every year, the Integrity Commission presents its annual report as a record of its stewardship of Jamaica's anti-corruption framework. The 2025-2026 report is no exception. It is comprehensive, professionally presented, and filled with statistics that reflect the organization's working under demanding circumstances. On the face of the report, tells a positive story. The Commission reports record compliance with statutory declarations, the monitoring of thousands of public contracts, successful prosecution, expanded stakeholder engagement, stronger information technology systems, and greater investment in public education. It also candidly acknowledges several operational challenges, including leadership vacancies, staff turnover, litigation, and delays in implementing key reforms. These achievements, says Chops, deserves recognition. But after reading all 261 pages, one unavoidable question remains. Has the report demonstrated that Jamaica is becoming more accountable, or merely that the commission is becoming busier? Chops is right here. He can tell us if he has found the answer to the problem. Congratulations on your article on Substack, Chops Media. Tell us how we can get to the article and a little bit more on what you are trying to say to us here.
Yeah, man. Thank you for highlighting it, Neighbor. And I encourage persons to go over there and read. I'm trying to write as much as possible and express our thoughts and lay some facts in the space as it relates to some of these things. The Integrity Commission, of course, and it's a valid question. If you really read through the report that was tabled in Parliament, what was said was they presented a case to suggest that they have been active. They are doing a lot of stuff. They are getting those reports coming into the office. They are utilizing the resources that they have. But the big question is, because when you spend all this money on an agency of that magnitude, the question is whether or not we're getting value for money. People have been asking this question. And based on what the report is putting out there, I doubt that very much, that we're actually getting value for money. Yes, they have demonstrated in the report that they are going through the numbers. Some of it is not impressive either, because based on the amount of reports that comes into the agency and the amount that has been examined and have been ruled upon, it is a measly 10 or 15%. It's not worth it if you look at it. And they have not been able to demonstrate to the public that they have implemented any policy or anything at all that would have prevented a significant loss of money. And I've always asked the question, we're spending $2.4 billion on the Integrity Commission per year to have that institution in place. But have they been able to prevent the equal amount of said amount of money from going down the tube of somebody's pocket? I doubt that very much.
Fantastic. You said that there is a missing piece measuring national change. You said perhaps the report most revealing statement is its acknowledgement that progress on the national anti-corruption strategy did not advance at the expected pace, despite describing it as the country's most important anti-corruption initiative. Are you saying here, Chops Media, that corruption in Jamaica is still very high?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm really saying there is that if it is that you're boasting about the studio that you operate in now being the best that you have to offer to the public, and as a matter of fact, it's the best in Jamaica. You also, in the same statement, highlight why the studio is not operating at its optimal. So on one hand, you're saying that the commission is excellent and is the best thing for Jamaica. But on another page, you're saying that the organization has not met the level that you have set for the organization. It has not met that level. The threshold is still there. You have not met the level of deliverables that you desire. But you're still saying that it is the best thing. So you have to make your mind up. Which is it? Is it that we are working towards getting to a particular level and there's work to be done? Or it is that you are not delivering what needs to be delivered?
Okay. In your conclusion, Chops, you are intimating that Jamaica is becoming measurably more transparent, more accountable, and more resistant to corruption because of the Integrity Commission's work. You are saying that the next report should point to that. I am asking you, Is Jamaica becoming more measurable, transparent, accountable, and resistant to corruption? Is that the new environment we are living in? And is it because of the Integrity Commission? Well, I think Chops has frozen out on me there. Hello?
Yes, sorry about that. Probably. Yes. Am I back?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Am I back with you?
Yes, sir.
Am I back with you, neighbor?
I'm hearing you, yes.
Yes. Perhaps one of the things that we might have to drill down, yes, probably one of the things that we might have to drill down in is whether or not
All right, give him a minute there. Five after 10.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right. So I probably will.
Yes. Am I back with you?
You are back with me, sir. Yes.
Okay. Yes. So
He's gone again. Okay, producer, tell me what's happening here. I need to put the wrap on this. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. Chops are back.
I hope so.
Yeah, hearing you now. Go ahead.
I was saying to you that perhaps one of the things that you might have to drill down in is whether or not, in the first place, was Jamaica as corrupt as we have been fed to believe? That is perhaps the real question here. Because one of the things that I can tell you is that we have always been saying that our politicians in particular in Jamaica are extremely corrupt. The question is,
was it true?
What we have been fed, was it true? Because it's as if we have set up ourselves, to the non-profit organizations global and the global organizations. We have created this perception that Jamaica is the most corrupt country. And we are now searching for the evidence to substantiate that claim.
Yes.
And it seemed to be like up to $2.4 billion per year.
We spent to try to find out whether we are corrupt.
Yes, to justify. We've already said that we are corrupt, but now we are asking for the evidence, and we are spending a lot of money to find the evidence. And what we are doing now, we are dragging people, and we are now saying to the commission that we need more powers. The commission need more power because they need instead of being restricted in terms of who you can malign in the space, you are now asking for more power so you can now go out there and I can say, neighbor, I'm investigating you for illicit enrichment. And for the country to draw that conclusion, because if I can publish that of the 63 members of parliament, 35 is under investigation, then that actually justify my keep. So neighbor, what you're seeing here, it's a manifestation of something bigger than what is presenting in our face. We have already said to the world that Jamaica is corrupt. Our politicians are corrupt. The media houses have drilled that in the minds of people to the extent that people are afraid of being associated with politicians. That is how corrupt we think they are. And now we've spent $2 billion trying to find the evidence. And in my view, it appears, based on the Commission's own revelation in their reporting, it appears, neighbor and members, that they are coming up short. And if I'm wrong, I stand corrected.
Well, is it the thing, Chops, they will forever come up short based on how they operate. And neighbor, you can recall, I questioned the methodology of the commission long before this ever we've gotten the report. And what I learned today, it shows why the Integrity Commission is so reactive. They are still finding themselves in the monologue age, neighbor. Everything is so manual. There's a whole warehouse of files that they use, not digital. I know they're going to just about coming to digitize some aspect of it. But you can't be having a whole warehouse of files where you walk going night and go check in this day and age. Not when you want to be quick. You want to be precise and you want to be accurate in how you put forward things. Each and every year, you will receive more and more declaration and information, right, from many different public officials. And you have a whole warehouse of you going to check physical files, neighbor. Why aren't things digitized, computerized? And then to make matters worse, the methodology is as if they're winging it. And I'll use an example coming directly out of the committee today. They would have asked Mr. Chuck of two companies that were formed from the 80s. There were no activity whatsoever from the companies. The Integrity Commission did their investigation. They have the information that there was nothing. So it's almost like you and I and Chuck's form a company neighbor would just register it, never did anything. And then they're going to come and ask Mr. Chuck, no, what about those two companies? When they already have the information to say those companies are nothing. And to see you're going all the way back to those times, you're wasting resources. They even asked at one point in time about a 1991 car. No, neighbor, you remember your first car and who you sell it to? These are the type of questions they're actually asking these public figures, neighbor, which makes no sense. Neighbor, I don't even remember who I sell my first car to.
Uh-huh.
And when you call them like that, Harry, the difficulty is that their only go-to, and not the only go-to, but one of their favorite go-to line is that you are the ones who have put this law together. So if you identify this problem, then you must go ahead and fix it. I think the Integrity Commission themselves recognize that what they're doing is senseless, you know. I think they do. But as you said, in order to just continue winging it, we're just going through the motion.
Yeah, they're actually just trying to clutch at every and anything, because there should actually be a statutory in the neighbor, and I hope somebody who works there is listening. You have to have a statutory limitation, period. And I don't believe, right, and this is my personal view, that the ICE was created in 2017. I don't think you should be able to go back further than 7 years. Here's my reasoning. That is the standard average time for which institutions, and we're speaking of finance as well, neighbor, that financial institutions are to keep any client's information. Right? After that, you destroy.
No.
Why is the Integrity Commission asking for things decades ago?
It makes no sense.
And this is how we burn up $2.4 billion
every year.
Uh-huh. Well, Chops, tell us a little bit more about the article, because we run out of time. How can we access it? And I'll be prepared to talk to you. You say you put out one every week, eh?
Yes, at least I try to do that on a weekly basis. It's on Substack. Substack is where the new ground is for communication on this level. Not typical Facebook, and I'm not saying anything bad, but it's just a different environment. And one of the reasons I choose Substack is because sometimes it takes a while for you to get your articles in the newspapers, the traditional newspapers in Jamaica. And what that does also, sometimes you're at the mercy of an editor who will decide whether or not this article suits their narrative.
Yes.
And will choose the R&A. Because I can tell you, I have at least 10 articles that I've written to the Gleaner. And it was very critical of the PNP and some of their operatives. And they would not publish it. Because, of course, it doesn't carry their line.
What about the Observer?
You know? The Observer has been a little bit more accommodating in terms of presenting and publishing your articles. So I find where Substack, you have a more open play field there where you can put your articles out and it will get published. So you can go to Substack, and of course I'll share the link in some of the WhatsApp group, and I'll put it in my bio on my TikTok page. It will be on the Facebook page as well, and with the different WhatsApp groups. So feel free to go over there. And I think there's Gabby Hilton is also a very good writer over there as well. She's sharing some very great perspective on some of the issues in the country. So I try to write one a week or two sometime, depending on what is happening. But this one in particular just examine the report that came out with the Integrity Commission and looks at the what I think is a failure. And this is an opinion that I've shared years ago. I just don't believe that we're getting value for money in terms of, and this is not to say that we don't need an Integrity Commission. I think every well-thinking Jamaican would agree that the country need a watchdog group of the magnitude of an Integrity Commission. But the way it's being operated now, it's just not functional, and it really and truly is a waste of taxpayers' money.
Have a great night. Have a great night, Chops. Take care of yourself. Thanks much. Okay, fantastic. Well, listeners, we will not be here tomorrow at 7:00. Okay, so look out for the notifications in the group if we are going to be on. Even if we are on tomorrow, we will not. It will not be at 7:00. I'm not available at 7:00 on a Friday. Okay, for a little time. I won't be available Fridays at 7:00. I think that I will try to be on, but if I'm not, then you understand that I have said to you, we're not available Fridays at 7. Depending on how things are going, we probably will be here on Saturday. Saturday evening, definitely, depending on how news breaks in the country. But we will definitely be here on Sunday for the Sunday review. And who to tell, we may be on Sunday morning for a show. We're working out that. Member Harry, talk to the people and close out for me.
Yes, neighbor. Well, neighbor, another successful night as usual. The program is growing from strength to strength. We're seeing increased numbers for sure.
Yes.
And increased numbers mean increased minds being touched through our conversations. And of course, this is the home where conversation matter.
Yes.
Right? Of course, Politics Plus, we have a lot of things putting a lot of things in the pipeline.
Yes.
So you guys can stay tuned for that. We won't say what they are just yet. But of course, we have the best interest at heart for the nation, to ensure that we educate, we inform, and we improve each and everybody who comes across the Politics Plus network and the Hello Neighbour Show. But I do wish everybody having a great rest of night. For those who may be working later, stay safe. Hard work, put in the work continuously, just as we do here. I want to big up all platforms, neighbor, X, Instagram, Facebook, of course here on TikTok and YouTube. Continue to like, share, subscribe, rewatch some of the videos. If you're having a conversation and you don't remember something, you can rewatch all the videos over there on YouTube. Of course, tell a friend, and have that friend tell a friend as well. So as neighbor said, we won't be here tomorrow. But of course, what I'll advise everybody is to go back and watch a few of the shows, especially anyone that we've done on TCN, because we know that's a big topic currently. Even go back and watch the Marlon Morgan interview with us. You have a lot of content over there to keep you busy and keep you up. So everybody have a great rest of night. Moderators, you've been doing a great job. Caroline, amazing as usual. Neighbor, good show, and big up to Chop, Scratchy, everybody who have participated.
Before you go, member, tell me a little bit about your experience at the G2K function last night. How was it?
I want to say youthful, neighbor.
For
those who aren't so youthful again, it's a level of resurgence. It's something I've seen similar to my time when I was, somewhat active, because I've been when I was at UE. I've been a part of them through meetings and so on. But I'll describe it as a resurgence. Some things that I'm seeing being revitalized, rebranded. It's good to see, especially the website and so on that's coming, a centralized location for information. That's good, and not just the social media part. I love the fact that past G2K leaders were also there to endorse the first woman president of the G2K. She has her hands full, neighbor, because G2K has had very good leaders in the past. So I don't expect the standard to drop. In fact, I expect it to surpass others. So it was good. Ministers were also there. We had Audrey Marks that we highlighted here on the show. We had.
By the way, how did you get the Speaker of the House to come on camera and say hi?
Well, neighbor, we were having a little chit chat. She was putting down some moves. And she has watched our program a number of times, and as such, I invited her to do us the honor and to come and say hi.
Wow.
She definitely obliged. And shortly after, she'll go and put on some more moves, neighbor.
You mean she has watched this program?
She has, neighbor. She has. Definitely, and she's well read, well informed, and I can tell you, neighbor, she has a wealth of advice to young people. I can definitely tell you that, and it's a breath of fresh air to know that we have such wonderful persons willingly doing so and trying to prepare the.
You were also
that's coming up.
You were also able to get Audrey Marks to come on camera. How you did that?
Well, we were also having a little conversation, neighbor, and I expressed I don't want to say disgust in terms of how Jamaicans would have, attempted to tarnish such a beautiful soul and a very valuable woman to society, because she's well networked in a neighbor.
Oh, yes.
And we have to understand that she's also the first female ambassador to the US to have done so twice. So a lot of it was like a woman power kind of thing in the night in a neighbor. But she also expressed that she would love to give clarity on this TCN thing, and less so even trying to clear her name, but more so to inform. And I love that, and I saw that as an opportunity to, of course, network with her to get her on the program. We haven't finalized in terms of the date as yet, because of course she's a very busy woman, but it's definitely there to be confirmed. So that's one of the things, listeners, that's in the pipeline. I don't know. I can't say who else yet, because there were quite a number of conversations had for the night. So I'll definitely be working on that, as well as the rest of the team. Trying to get these persons out there, because of course, Politics Plus is where you want to have these type of conversations, and we're putting in the work to ensure that we are putting value to people. We're also ensuring that we empower Jamaicans with the right information, because I can tell you, just with the whole thing with Audrey Marks, I know she was not given the leverage and the opportunity to truly go into the information that the people really need to hear. And I think we can easily give her that opportunity to do so, especially with the fact that we are one of the biggest, if not the biggest platform currently when it comes down to the diaspora.
Yes.
And she loves that. That was an eye-opener for her. So that's like home to her. So we're looking to kind of owning on that and to bring it home to the people here on Politics Plus Network. Hello Neighbour.
Speaking about the diaspora, I think it is quite true that we have more listeners outside of Jamaica than in Jamaica. That's fascinating.
It is, neighbor. The only thing I said I'm waiting to hear, there's a Jamaican somewhere up in the northern area watching the northern lights, because we're everywhere. I don't think there's any part of Mother Earth that a Jamaican has not resided. So that's a wonderful thing, and it shows the pulling power that we have. I just think it's the the coordination that we don't have. It is not properly put there, and that is the root cause of it is how information is disseminated, neighbor, and the truth of that information.
Did you know that your mother came on the program last night?
She was on it. I didn't know that, neighbor.
Yes, your mother came up on the program last night, and after we closed over there at Belmont Road, I think your mother was listening and felt so proud that she had to come up, man. Yes, she did.
well, I'm happy, neighbor.
So you used to love breasts.
I wasn't suckled on breast.
No. Oh, goodness gracious. We're so proud of you. We're so proud of you, Harry. You really are. We're proud of you. I give God thanks for the day when our producer found you and brought you over here. You and Scratchy, and you guys are fantastic. Proud of you, sir.
Thanks so much, neighbor. So we still have to do it's doing Jamaica's job, so it's rewarding to know I can instill that national pride. But I can definitely tell a neighbor we're going to see a lot of things from G2K. The conversations were riveting among more youthful persons. I love to see it, and I aim to be a part of those conversations to ensure that it continues, the very least, with them. So, we'll do our part and help shape Jamaica beyond just 2030.
Yeah, you are exceptional Jamaican, and I'm proud of you. I sometimes I'm awestruck to know that I'm in your presence.
Well, not yet, neighbor.
Well, that's why I'm careful for you, because I know that one day I probably will have to be your driver.
No, neighbor, no, sir. No, neighbor. you might be there giving the speeches.
No, man. Then I'll be your driver, sir. I'll be your driver. I am rooting for you, and I'm pushing you for you, because I think that you have all the features of being something great for Jamaica. Thank you so much, sir.
Always a pleasure, neighbor.
Yes.
Everybody have a great night.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about Scratchy too. I think he is a fantastic Jamaican man. One of the brightest fellows I've ever seen on this space here, TikTok. It's a pity. It's a pity that this space is the way it is, because someone like Scratchy, wow, I think the party could use him in a very real way to bring information to Jamaicans. There's no one in this space here with the type of knowledge and the way he connects with people like Scratch. And he has been with me from day one. So, brother Scratch, big up yourself. One of these days, Scratchy, one of these days. Hang on in there with me, brother. Hang on in there. One of these days, we get in there. And then I have the best producer on TikTok. She found me one day and said, "Neighbor, I wanna work with you." And here we are tonight. Every time I show my face up on TikTok, anywhere I am, there is Caroline right beside me. Look at that. And when she comes to Jamaica, she don't she don't come look for me, which is a sad thing. Anyway, thank you so much for your support. Thank you also, Shafreen. You are over there on YouTube, making sure that things happen. Appreciate all the work from the team. And look at this. Look at what we have done. Next 10 years, things to come. By the way, Daphne, I hear you're not too far from me in Daphne. I didn't know that. Daphne, I hear you're not too far from me. Please. I need to call you. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. YouTube, take care of yourselves. I'll catch you tomorrow here. Patreon, X, and all my great friends. Love you from the bottom of my heart. Take care of yourselves. And bye-bye. Bye-bye, YouTube. Take care.